It's your boy Hars in the building, and we are back with another live stream at Behind the Art live from Casa. Got my boy, very special guest in the building, season finale. So you know we had to send it off the right way. My boy JPEG is in the building.
Yes, sir. What's up? What's up? What's
One
up?
time for the one time.
Me, Casa, Su Casa. What up? Thank you for
You
having
say
me.
that. You know that.
Yes,
you
sir.
know that.
Legendary Haas. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Of course, bro. How you feeling, bro?
Yo, I feel great. I feel really happy to be here.
Type shit.
And happy things like this exist in our city.
Exactly.
And I'm just excited to kick back and tap in and vibe out.
Type shit. We're just as happy to have
right
you, bro.
there.
We're just as happy to have you, though. But I think there's a ton of places we can start. But I kind of want to start. You just touched back down in the city. You was in New York for a little bit. Yeah. So like, take us through that. Like, what was you in the city for? Type shit. What you had going on?
So you know, a lot of people don't know this, but I actually have family in New York.
Okay.
Before I came to Boston as a kid, I was in the Bronx and in Washington Heights.
Yeah.
And so I got family over there, and so I went to go visit them.
Okay, word.
You know, was just tapping in and catching up with them. I hadn't seen them in a while.
Yeah.
And I was also looking to link up with my boy Vish out there.
Okay.
You know, he's tapped in with Loudmouth in Brooklyn, and they got some studios over there. So
okay,
we was looking to lock in, and I also I also tapped in with one of my close friends, Daniel Margaris, out in Brooklyn.
Okay.
He's a multifaceted artist,
fire
metal worker, painter, musician, and he was the person that actually put Ableton in my hands many years ago. And so it was really nice to go see them and to catch up and show them how far I went with this stuff.
Okay, that's hard.
And yeah, we made a beat tape overnight. So I'm working on finalizing that.
Okay.
And then yeah, so I had some other plans that kind of fell through. And so I had some free time and I decided for once to do the touristy thing in New York.
Okay.
Because I feel like every time that I'm in the city, I'm always just working. You know, I'm always like, if I'm not teaching over there, I'm at a show. If I'm not at a show, it's a listening party here, pop up over there. And, you know, there's always all these events, but I never really stop and look at the flowers. So,
yeah.
So, you know, I decided to like head over to Times Square. You know, what else did I do?
I heard you. I seen you tweeted. You went to the museum.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. As you told me, I was easing in there. I want to ask you about that. How was that?
Yeah, so that was so the hotel that I stayed at. It was the Shoreham Hotel. That hotel is so fire.
Okay, where's that? What part of the city is that in?
It's literally like steps away from Fifth Avenue.
Oh, okay.
And it was literally like even walking distance to Times Square, probably like a 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
And so the MoMA was right there from the hotel, and there was a sign that they had up like right on that same street.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually remember hearing Westside Gun rap about the MoMA.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, what the fuck? I'm right next to the MoMA. Let me pull up and see what's good.
Yeah.
And yo, you ever seen that episode of Family Guy when like Stewie's like standing in the art gallery and he's staring at the painting?
Yeah.
And then the painting is like full screen.
Yeah.
And it zooms into the painting and right back into his face. I swear to God, that was like me in so many different times throughout my adventure in there. Like it was Yo, it was so incredible, man. If anybody watching, yo, if you ain't never been to a art museum or anything like that, I encourage you to go.
Facts.
And then don't just go and like walk around and look at the paintings. Like read the captions and look at the guides, yo, because yeah, yo, you might learn something. I seen some fire shit, bro. Wait, yo, I could curse on here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I seen some fire shit, yo.
Some fire shit.
And yeah, I seen Pablo Picasso. Which I never seen a Picasso painting in person. None of these paintings, I never seen them in my life before. So it was like incredible.
Yeah.
And the descriptions of how they spoke about the art and like the type of paintings and the oils that they used and the
Yeah.
textures and the, you know, I even tried to joke around with one of the security guys that spoke, like I saw he was Dominican.
Okay.
I told him, I was like, oye, manito, esto se parece como un regajo aquí, ¿verdad? And then what that translates to is yo, this looks like a joke, right? Like it looked like I could have did this my damn self. And I
Yeah.
was joking about this painting that literally looked so simple. Like it looked
Yeah.
like a baby could have straight up just thrown that painting on that
Yeah.
wall, and it was this whole room of just splatter on the wall.
Yeah.
And it was so incredible because he sunned me real quick and was like, es una maravilla, which is like, yo, it's marvelous, you know,
Mm.
like on some like, yo, man, like you
Nah,
better
this
put
is
some respect on this shit. This
yeah.
is art.
Yeah.
And so it was such a revolutionary experience. You know, I seen Salvador Dali pieces.
Okay.
He had one that was in a glass, like glass wall, and it was layers of glass with painting on it, and it just looked like this 3D collider.
Okay.
Like it was some fire pieces.
Yeah.
I seen the famous Andy Warhol,
Okay.
the little Campbell's chicken noodle soups.
Yeah.
And what else did I see? I seen uh Van Gogh, Starry Starry Night,
Okay.
which that was something that, yo, I seen that throughout my whole life.
Yeah, you always hear
you
about
see
that
shit on the picture books and
yeah.
all that.
They use it a lot in like for marketing, for art marketing and public transit stations and stuff
I've
like
seen
that.
that shit in person, bro. And you should have. When I saw it, I was like, I literally like had that same reaction, and there was
Okay.
people huddled all around it,
Yeah.
going crazy over it.
The appreciation for art in New York is like, especially traditional art in the forms of painting, crafts, like artisan work, sculptures and stuff like that. It's far beyond a lot of other markets. But so how much time you feel like you spent in the museum that day?
Oh my god, bro! I stayed there for hours, like literally.
That's beautiful.
When I walked in, I went up to the guy that was standing at the door, and I was like, "Yo, man, it's my first time at the MoMA. Like, what do you recommend?" And he said, "Listen, yo, start at the 5th floor, and work your way down, because it'll be the full timeline. You'll go from the earliest back in the day to the present stuff of modern art today."
Yeah.
I said, "You got it, dude." And I literally worked my way up from the 5th floor all the way down, and I walked all through them halls, yo, like probably like 2-3 hours, I swear. At one point, like, yo, it feels like you get lost in there. Like, I feel like that place is so big that I didn't even see all the rooms.
Yeah.
But there was also a couple films. Like, they had a film that was all about Langston Hughes.
Okay.
Famous poet, somebody that I read their poetry my whole life.
Yeah.
And they had people like Nina Simone on there, honoring and I don't know, it was so fire, yo.
That's
like,
hard. That's crazy you mentioned Nina Simone, because I actually went to a folk concert at the library the other day, and she's like big in the folk spoken word space. Like, you know, the famous record from her that Hove sampled to do the on the 444 album. I'm forgetting the name of that record. What should I name it? My Skin Is Black.
Oh yeah.
So it's like that's
from the 444 album.
Yeah, like I forget. I think that's the J-Bo song. If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's fire, bro. I mean, talk about like, because you mentioned the word revolutionary. I'm pretty sure like you kind of felt there was a moment of like exhilaration, and you seemed like you was enthusiastic to kind of do a little bit different from what you would normally do going into the city. So like, did you have that?
Yeah, yo.
Did you have that thought process like on the way there, or was that just like mid trip? You're like, you know what? Let me.
Yeah, honestly, it legit. I had just pulled up to the hotel, and I was like waiting on word from my cousin, because we was pulling up to an event at Nike.
Okay.
And I had to kill some time, and so literally I looked at my GPS, and I seen the MoMA on there, and then and legit, it just kind of fell on my lap. I was like, yo, let me pull up over there and see what's up. And I think the most coolest part about it was when I even walked into the store, there was like a bag on there that said, your life will never be the same after you experience art. And then there was all these like, damn, let me even pull up this picture. Let me put this quotable in there.
Okay.
Let me put this quotable in there real quick, because I got mad pictures of the stuff. Where the camera at? Where the camera at? It's right there. Yo, see, like, look, see, I took pictures of this shit, and this is one of the pictures that I seen. Mad stuff that just straight moved me,
What
yo.
was that quote again? Though
So
your
the
life
quote,
will never be
it
the
says
same.
you are no longer the same after experiencing art, and the
Ooh,
quote is Milton Glaser, and they got it on one of their little gift bags,
okay, on the
and
tote. That's
they was
hard.
taxing, they was trying to charge like $60 for this bag, so I said, listen, man, I'm gonna just take a picture of it and
Yeah.
call it a day, and yeah, and then so that was something that was really amazing, and then check this out, there was this thing right here. Let me see if I could find out. I wish I took a picture of who it was, but what it says right here, it says, what men need today is faith in themselves and in others, release from the sense of their isolation and hope, a conviction that realities like justice, peace, unity, and love are not merely good things on paper, good things in songs, good things meant for the good alone. What men need is a reminder that these things are worth being born for.
Mm,
Indeed, that we were born for nothing else. And I can't pronounce his last name right. It says Berrigan.
okay.
Um, and so
That's
can
deep
you
though.
to walk around somewhere and just be slapped with all these
Yeah.
visuals, all this art, all these quotes, and I came back like with a fire, like, damn, I want to create something. I want to, I want to be a part of this shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's hard, bro. That's hard,
So
bro. I don't want to get too far without introducing our film because I do think is like heavily in heavy correlation with our conversation today, and then kind of some I would say a little bit of both of our journey. For me, kind of seeing this film originally, being introduced to it in high school, and kind of understanding it a little bit now in its layers. I like how I originally saw it was just like how I introduced it to you earlier. It's kind of like a rom-com before those things were even that genre was kind of decided on, which wasn't until later into time. But like when I think about it now, Rick being the main character, the protagonist, and you can kind of see his journey. I know a lot of times people think of antagonists in a film because you have to have one. You have to have a protagonist and antagonist as a character in itself. But I really feel like for Rick and his journey in Casablanca, the antagonist is more so kind of duality of himself. So he struggles with kind of this restaurant that he has kind of come across and is being used as kind of like a speakeasy joint to where he's kind of running under the table business. He's got war generals, he's got politicians, delegates, all types of folks coming into his space, and he's kind of in the middle of all of this kind of like black market activity. Then he has this woman that he comes across that you meet a beautiful lady, you kind of decide you want to lead a game alone, but you kind of tied up into this, and it's not just that easy, especially when you're dealing with different countries. Like this is the USSR before the USSR type.
wow.
So it's like Rick is challenged in this film to kind of make tough decisions as he kind of plays the thin line between the work he knows and the love that he wants. And I think as artists, we could definitely relate to that in a sense of like we've had conversations before when we talked about like just our upbringings and like knowing what life could be if we was to just keep on certain traditions and continue down certain roads instead of like carving out our own paths.
Right.
And how oftentimes a lot of our peers fall into those same, I wouldn't say traps, because I don't even want to look at anything as a trap. For us, it's just like if we don't know no better, it's just like you can't do better. It's like we got access to information which allowed us to make a little bit to make different decisions, I would say, because everybody's alarm clock comes on at a different time. And no one, I like to think that no one is beyond remorse nor above reproach. So like anything is possible for any and everybody. It's incumbent upon that individual to
Right.
kind of make those decisions, and we just happen to be two individuals who decided to make those decisions and like kind of carve out these paths ourselves. That's why I feel like the film is so relatable, because the come to the end of the film, we'll see he makes a decision on what he wants to do. But this is like the classic love story as well. And I also think on a surface level, pretty sure you feel me, you very suave, a handsome man, polished type shit. So I know you've had some ladies in your life, you feel me, and we've connected on that before too, like the relationship aspect, and as
Absolutely.
artists type shit, like how we deal with that. So I kind of want to like just to kind of start us off, like very simple though, how many black and white films have you seen?
Yo, so from the one that I saw at the MoMA,
Okay.
it literally was looking just like this.
Oh,
I'm
that's
trying to.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Was it like a small
Colonial.
screening room or was it like a large
Nah, it was a
auditorium?
large screening room, and it
Okay.
was like a room paying homage to Langston Hughes, and literally it was like this,
Yeah.
like they was all vibing, and it was going through like they even had footage of his funeral, which was
Okay.
crazy.
Okay.
And it was all in black and white. And then aside from this, man, I used to see the Mickey Mouse black and white.
Yeah.
I remember even they had a couple Tom and Jerry joints
Yeah.
that was with that same theme. And then shoot, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, okay, word, word,
Yeah.
word. But it's like, so are you big on the rom com? What would you say your genre of movie that you fuck with the most?
Shoot, I think my favorite genre movies definitely thriller movies.
Okay,
And I really like the classic movies like growing up. Like, movies that got to do with like real life situations.
okay,
You know what
fair.
I mean? Um and like one of my favorite movies of all time is Paid in Full, which I feel like is almost everybody's favorite movie
Yeah.
sometimes. But I really appreciate that one because it was a DVD that my brother had, um,
Okay.
and it was something that like he was a big inspiration in my life, and so I would just want to do everything he's doing,
Type shit.
and so literally that was like something that I saw that kind of helped me understand the environment I was in. And
Yeah.
so I would love movies like that, like literally Blue Hill Bill, Chef Bogey.
Yeah.
They got a project on the way, and they put me on to one of the records on there. It
Okay. Word.
is got to do with the movie Fresh, and
Okay.
and and so they put me on to that movie, and I watched it just the other night. And
That's a classic. Yeah.
like, and I was born in DR, and when I grew up in my house, it was really, it's like in the crib is DR, and then when I step outside the house, I'm in America, and so I'm
Okay.
like really picking up on American culture and all these elements through the family that I've created in Boston,
Mm.
and in New York and things like this.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so it's really cool.
I would love to hear more about that. Like you navigating that experience, because I know for some folks, I feel like you've been very well versed, right? And I think we were born in an era where we got the benefit of being able to see both things. So like the physical era and the digital era, right? And understanding how both of those two kind of intertwine. But to your point, I feel like in a lot of those situations, when folks grow up somewhere else and then they come here, it can be a bit of a culture shock. So I wondered, was it like that for you early on, or do you feel like you just they use the word assimilate, but that sounds very federal, so I don't like that. I don't like that word, but like kind of meshed. You became malleable to your environment, type shit, and was able to adapt. Like you feel
Yeah,
me?
so I feel like in many ways I was fortunate
Yes.
because myself and my twin sister, we were so young when we came
Hmm.
that we didn't really uh get to see all the adversity and the journey,
Yeah.
like with pulling up over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The struggle really was trying to come up here, because when we came, it was just my mother on her own, and she only had $15 to her name, and she had 3 kids, and like,
Mm.
you know that was like how we came here.
Yeah.
And so I think what it was really hard was learning a new language. I was like an ESL student for a really long time,
Yeah.
and I had to go to speech therapy to
Yeah.
even learn how to speak properly.
Hmm.
And so that's why I speak the way that I do. And yeah, I guess that's like something that's like culture shock. But I don't know. I feel like Boston is a very cultural place.
Yeah.
And
Melting pot.
so
Yeah.
and so when I grew up, growing up in Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan, it's like a lot of people on the same type of time that we was on,
Yeah.
and the touching on this part about the digital world and things like this, um out in DR, you know they're getting modern over there now type shit, but
Okay.
like they this was crazy. There's a fact that's out there right now that they literally just transitioned from not being a third world country, like they're officially not a third world country because of their economic growth within the last decade. But the thing about DR is that there's people still taking showers with buckets. There's people still that don't got no electricity in the crib. They don't got no Wi-Fi, no internet, and it's a different lifestyle over there. My brother calls it the jungle.
Yeah.
And so I think that when I went back out there as a teenager and as an adult, that was where the culture shock came in, because when you go out there, you learn why people come out here in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's because uh, they want to find a better opportunity for themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's literally, I would just say to people to just do their research, and yeah.
I mean, to that point, I feel like I'm even pulling a lot from like when you spoke about your mother and her resilience and kind of that like the process of coming here. But I see a lot of that in your story, is like, especially when you talk to the hustle component. I know before we got on, we spoke briefly about the studio, but we congratulate you on that, for that, that launch, Studio 219, and kind of be
Thank
on,
you, bro.
that like bringing that brand to the light and kind of like officially putting that out there. But I know it's something that you've been working on for some time,
Oh
type
yeah.
shit. And it's like, but it's not like you were new to owning a studio space. Like, you had a space, and it's like you had a space for some time, and you've been operating multiple studios. Like, talk about, because I feel like there's resilience in that story too, because you are one of the few who've been able to, because that's like not an easy feat out here, to find studio space and then be able to hold it down, retain clients, have legacy clients, actually put out work. Like, it's not an easy feat. So talk about like the transition process from studio to studio, and then like how you've been able to kind of cultivate your community of artists that you work with, and then to this point now, where in most recently you was able to do a launch and you raffled off away
Yeah.
some studio time.
Absolutely.
And had a whole bunch of participation, because I seen that will. I was one of the people that participated. I seen that will. There was mad folks trying to get studio time. So it's just like, and that was fire to see too, because it kind of added to the reality is that you have built these relationships, you have built a community around your work as a producer, as an artist, but like how like you kind of maintained it the way, like all the way through, because some, a lot of times folks give up. Like, it could get hard,
Oh
and
yeah.
you are someone who was like made it very clear that a part of your journey has been like being not just being adaptive, but like making sure that you're doing whatever's necessary to make sure like things are continuing, like they're continuing to move forward and progress forward. So you've showed a lot of that hustle and dynamic, that like what's a word I'm looking for, like very dynamic in your hustle, and like
Yeah, thank you.
continue that. Like, so like, where does that come from? Do you feel like that comes from, that's like hereditary, like it comes from your folks, or like is that stuff that like you picked up and saw like, okay, this is stuff that I'm gonna have to add to my drive? Because you seem like a person who's naturally had drive. So it's like, I'm gonna add these little things and these mechanisms to make sure that I continue to push forward.
So wow, I really appreciate those words. To have that impression is incredible, because I think that I've actually been the complete opposite. Like,
Mm,
I have always been somebody that, like, I don't know how to listen. I always like asked a lot of questions that I shouldn't have asked.
mm,
I always am very antsy, very pushy on
understood. Yeah.
people, like in my life, that are like my folks, for example, and my loved ones, and people that have mentored me
Yeah.
over the years. And I think that if it wasn't for those entities in my life that was able to kind of like whip me into shape and push me,
Yeah.
that's kind of like what put me into the mode that I'm at today. I think that before I got into making music, it was really a long time personal journey within myself,
Mm-hmm.
trying to pretty much do as many different hobbies as many different life ventures, activities as possible until I found something that I liked. And then it was through various mentors in my life that saw this madness that I was around, that
Yeah.
was able to, like, allow me to see the way. Um, and so before I started making music, I'll talk about a few of them. One guy that pretty much started it all. Two people actually.
Mm-hmm.
One is Thaddeus Miles,
Okay.
who at the time, I was I did a lot of poetry competitions, and
Oh, coming up.
and I did a lot of open mic nights
Yeah.
around the city when I was a teenager. And there was one at a youth symposium at Wheelock College, and I did this poem about like who I wanted to be when I grow up, and like it was a letter to my future self. And it was a poem that like pretty much spoke on this idea of being somebody that's just trying these different things. And I like to consider myself a man of many different lives,
Yeah.
and because of that. And like outside of music, we was talking before we went live, there was like about this beautiful space. One of the first things I noticed was there was a little agriculture setup right here with a bunch of seeds and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm really into that. I'm also into mechanics and
Yeah.
technology. I'm a tinker. I like to work with my hands and do construction. And
Yeah.
so it was, this poem was pretty much talking about that, and it
Okay.
was relating it to the environment that I was in, because from what you said earlier, like how you spoke about the trap, right?
Yeah.
In many ways I do feel like we're systematically oppressed,
Mm-hmm.
and we exposed to a lot of different things
Yeah. No,
in
for
the
sure.
media and in the culture and in the food that we eat and in the things that they pump into us.
Yeah.
And when people come here that don't know no better,
Mm-hmm.
they get brainwashed. And if they don't have, I was, damn, this is so crazy. I was just talking about this to somebody on the train in New York,
Okay.
that people are getting programmed by the phones, and
Yeah.
so because they got these devices that you could look up any information in real time, and you got this artificial intelligence putting you on to everything you need to know. Now there goes your need to want to listen to your OGs, and
Yeah.
and and that's what's missing. And so am I this person that had this natural drive? Hell no. Hell no. I just literally reached a point in my life where I had nothing else,
Yeah.
and music was the only thing that I had left.
Mm.
And it was like, all right, it's time to prove myself. Like, let me stick to something and let me follow all the way through and let me never give up. And that was literally something that I'm 28 now, and that was something that I said to myself when I was 14. And it was literally the transition of studio to studio. Yo, it went from having a cheap Korg keyboard.
Yeah.
And let me get to the point where I was saying about this poetry performance. So
Yeah.
I did this poem, and Thaddeus Miles was one of the guys at that show, and he literally stood up and said that if because there was somebody had won a laptop or some shit.
Okay.
And then the guy got up and was like, yo, if this guy could give somebody a laptop, then I could too. And he literally was like, yo, like, what's up? Like you want one? Like, well, you a app or you a Mac or a PC? I said, definitely a Mac. And boom, now I got my first lane into the industry.
That's hard.
The white MacBook, the
Oh,
little shell.
yo, you
You
remember them
remember that
joints in
shit?
middle school?
Huh?
Remember the joints in middle
Yeah,
school?
exactly.
Yo.
One of those.
Yeah.
That shit changed my life, yo. Now I'm able to type up words, and
Yeah,
I'm able
exactly.
to write poems. Now I'm able to do beats on
That's hard,
GarageBand.
bro.
You know what I mean?
Off of an open mic
And
night?
yeah, and
Look,
then
only in Boston. That's
yeah,
hard.
and then so the Korg piano that I got,
Mm-hmm.
that was something that I actually got at Boomerangs. You know what I mean?
See?
And that's for those of you that don't know what Boomerangs is. There's a thrift store that's in JP. It's been there forever. And
We're
so
gonna talk about that later
and
too.
so
Yeah.
boom, so that was my first setup. And legit, I was making these beats, recording it on voice memos on my iPhone.
Yes.
And during that time, I was linking up with my homie Daniel Margus that now is
Okay.
in Brooklyn, and he was putting me on because he came from this music family.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had his pops had a house that it was Aerosmith used to
Ooh.
record there, and so it was like one of their old studios, this crazy setup. And legit, we would sit there and jam out, and I'd be just picking up on everything that's going on and just trying to really train my ear
Yeah.
in this shit.
That's fire.
And so that was the first setup. From there, it was like now down the line, I'm trying to take it serious.
Okay.
And so that's when the famous Scarlet 2i2 comes in. You know,
Yep.
everybody
Starter
that
kit.
yeah, the red interface. You
Yep.
know, if you know, you know. All my
With the
producers out there.
what time what was the port on that too? It was the what USB is that? The
It was
printed USB.
yeah, it was the regular the USB 2.0. It wasn't
Yes.
none of that USB-C shit.
Yeah.
For those of y'all that got the new ones now, it didn't have none of that air shit
Yeah.
neither.
Yeah.
All that old fancy schmancy technology. Nah, I didn't have none of that.
Yeah.
It was just a mic, and then I had the AKG 420.
Okay.
All I did was get it because it had those magic numbers. And
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about. You know what I'm saying? I said,
I mean,
word.
those are good numbers to have. You feel me?
I said it's the P420. I word. That's the one. And that was that cost me about like $200.
Okay.
And I had gotten that money through working, any retail job I could find. Like I literally a man of many different lives, yo. I had from working retail jobs to office jobs to doing construction, like all these different ventures, yo. And yeah, so that was one of them. And yeah, and so I stacked my chips. I decided to go to Guitar Center and get that set up.
Mm-hmm.
And now, literally, I got my own little setup at the crib, little mic, all that.
Yeah.
And I was hitting people up. Yo, what's up? Yo, come record at the crib. What's up? Yo, I got the studio now, man. What up?
Yeah.
And that's where it started at. And my recordings was trash.
But you
All
had to start
right.
somewhere.
They was trash.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. People enjoyed them records. I got some of them records in my archives, and them shits was so fire.
Yeah.
But the best part about it was that I was able to make money off of it. Eventually, as I started getting better and better,
Mm-hmm.
I went to YouTube University, man. And that's, if you know that metaphor, yo.
Yes,
that's
sir.
literally I was wake, like I don't know what happened. Like that fire was built after you. It's like it built after I reached the point of like, yo, it's either you do something, like stand for something or fall for anything, man.
Tell them.
Like
Talk
what are
heavy.
you gonna do, man? You're gonna fucking fall into all this noise, all this bullshit, or are you gonna do your own thing and
Yeah.
stand 10 toes? And that's literally what it was. And I had a grind for this shit. I had a love for this shit. Like
Yeah.
I would go to school and I would listen to hip hop and all different types. Like I would be on the MBTA buses, man. I would
Yeah.
literally listen to hip hop, and I would legit like soak in all the music, and it was my mentor to all this shit.
Yeah.
Like the music was putting me on game, and yeah, yo. So I don't think that the fire is something that you're born with or something that you just have inside you. I think the fire is something that like
Develops.
yeah, it just develops on its own.
Yeah.
And if you ever feel like your fire is going out, it's like because you got to take time to build up that fuel. And so like
Fair.
that's why an experience at the MoMA is so life changing,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're putting yourself in these situations that it will inspire you, and putting yourself around people that will push you and will make you go forward.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's really what it was. Like all my family, all my brothers, all the people that been around me, that have had the literally the patience to deal with my bullshit. They're the ones that I gotta give it up to, and they know who they are.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's why I feel like, I hope that answers that question. Because
No, it does.
yeah.
And it kind of brings me, like, I feel like there's you mentioned three great things that I kind of want to take the time to go through. I want to like tap into the film a little bit more, because I feel like we're now at the decision making point in the film where Rick, this is, again, he owns a gentleman's club, so there's gonna be a lot of gentlemen, obviously, that come through the spot, and being that there's kind of a female there's a woman in this film that plays a big part of his story. You can imagine a woman between you and doing business. You have other men that are coming into the space and whatnot. So things can often get tricky, especially in the beginning of the film. He's not too clear on her background and where she comes from. So I think for me, I draw that analogy to, or that correlation to, like when good things come into our life. Have you've been doing good for a while, and then something comes in your life that feels a little bit too good to be true, and you're kind of like fested out. And in this art space, we kind of had to be very particular about the energies. Like, you're very big on that. I think that's why we connected so well early on, because there was some time where we like just connected online, and we had to find some time, and then we actually connected, and then it was just like, I feel like it was almost like spiritually the way that we connected too. It was like a vibe. But then you mentioned something. I remember at one of the first times we met, like being like an evangelist of this music thing. And I feel like you are very much a philosopher, and like the way that your mind works, the way that you think, the way that your energy resonates, and the way that you move. And I feel like for me, another reason why I want to watch this film, because I feel like it's really based in, like, it's built a lot of my philosophy on how I see film,
really,
and how I interpret film, but also from the way that Rick's character moves and a lot of decisions that he makes, because I feel like he sacrifices nothing for the sake of his business, even though he's having these conversations in his head about the love for that he has for this woman. He doesn't allow himself, like, you see, even see it. He allows this, like, knowing that he wants this woman from this man. He allows her to accompany this man, to kind of be vulnerable with someone else other than himself. And I feel like I relate to that a lot personally, because I found myself in those type of situations before, when you kind of have to let go of something that you may love very much. And then you often find out that, like, if it's meant for you, it'll find its way back.
exactly.
And it's like, also to an extent of like being able to trust your own intuition, because I think as men, a lot of times we kind of attribute intuition and being strong and being able to lean that to being a woman. And I think, like, we both understand that as human beings, there's a both masculine and a feminine side, and you have to understand and really learn about both of those things to understand how they really like intertwine and how they relate to you as an individual. But being a, like, someone who I would also consider a philosopher, like, to the point of that, like, even to the point of calling yourself like a music evangelist. I'm paraphrasing because you said something a little bit different, but like, how do you get that terminology and where do those things come from? Because you're like the bro Steph, like, you're great with analogies. Like, you got a lot of good analogies.
Yo, so I really appreciate those words, man. Like I gotta say, first off, before I go further, that it's really an honor to be here. And yeah, like this is just a really cool thing to be a part of. And I feel like the philosophy comes from me uh being inspired, by people like Aristotle and Socrates, and Plato, and
Phenomenal writers.
yeah, and then uh, uh and what's it called? And I also uh one of my favorite teachers of all time is KRS-One. And I be tapping into KRS-One's teachings on YouTube and stuff.
YouTube
and and
University.
uh, and then see, a lot of people don't know this one too, like B.O.B. Like, that's another big person
Yeah,
that I'll be tapping into. And I think that everybody can be a philosopher.
yeah,
I think a philosopher is a stamp on anybody that is willing to think critically and is willing to ask questions
yeah,
beyond the eye and the mind can see,
yeah.
and that's willing to take the time to get the information to get there. And one of my, like, I was a part of the philosophy club
Okay.
in the Boys and Girls Club. A lot of people don't. Damn, man, you bringing some. This is ill. So yeah, I was a part of the philosophy club in the Boys and Girls Club, and so we would go through different philosophies.
Yeah,
One of the first ones, which is a famous one, is like, what is good, and it's literally breaking down the
yeah,
philosophy of what goodness is.
yeah.
And that's like a rabbit hole that will take you there, like,
Okay,
for hours and hours on
okay.
end. And so that's really what I admire about the culture of that. And I want to go down as somebody that is a philosopher,
Yeah,
that because I'm somebody that has become who I am today. Like I said, I was somebody that didn't listen, and I had different entities and experiences in my life, like adversities, mentors,
Okay.
and moments with substances like marijuana and
Yeah.
hallucinogens, and that literally have allowed me to break past
Yeah.
that trap and that system,
Yeah.
and see things in a different way, and allow my brain to reach a different level of consciousness,
Yeah.
to allow me to look past my ego, and to really understand, uh that there's a lot more that meets the eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Oftentimes.
and yeah, so I think philosophy is a big deal, and I think that is something that we do it every day. um
Yeah.
you know People speculate on things and want to
Exactly.
know more about things every day, and to be honest, there's a lot of people that don't. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that like the structure and the
The
system and the
comfortability,
schedule
the
and the
tradition.
they
Yeah.
just there's the red pill and the blue pill. Have you seen the Matrix?
Yeah.
And that's what these movies tap in about. Like, those
Yeah.
are my favorite kind of movies, man. Movies
Okay.
that really make you see life in a different way, and they describe it to you in a very theatrical way.
Yeah.
And it's yeah and so yeah.
That's hard, bro. So it's the point, too, because you used it, and that was the first time I honestly heard that word used like that, but I heard it again recently. So I made it a point to remember to ask you when we were doing a stream. The evangelist, the like, I don't remember exactly. You have to remind me exactly what you said and how you used it. But like, again, to the philosophy
Oh,
point,
yes,
how do you
yes.
contextualize that to where that you can be so? Because when you said it, it was like, oh, I get exactly what you mean, because I hadn't heard that term used in that context before,
Yes.
but the way you contextualized it, and then again, you kind of got to be in JPEG space to kind of know, like, and see what he like that means. Like, it's very much like JPEG is very much a shaman of this music space, like being able to curate a vibe to where you feel welcome coming into his space. And if you're really trying to create good music, you're not just coming in to just create. You can do the fast stuff too, but like, if you want to come in, you want to create a vibe and you really want to learn, have thoughtful and insightful conversation, not just come in and record. Like, I feel like your space is a home for that.
Oh yeah, damn! Thank you. That's it exactly. So let me touch part on that part of the
Yeah.
question as well. So that's where the evangelism comes in this music shit, right?
Yes.
That a foundation of critical thinking and getting beyond past the eye can see gets connected to everything that we got going on in the city and the lifestyle that we live in, and the matter of hand that we at as far as trying to make music and create something.
Yep.
And so, my at first, when I first came into the music industry,
Mm-hmm.
I was on that capitalistic time. I wanted to be a DJ Khaled. I wanted to be in the industry and be signed and all
Okay.
these things. And and
Yeah.
and when people was coming through, I cared about getting them 15 or them $40 an hour,
Yeah.
but then something else ended up breaching in that experience. And it's about having those experiences where you think you about to land this next crazy opportunity, and then the things not gonna work out.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the things that I was studying in the places that I went to, they they encouraged a lot of different what's it called, different ways to go about being in the industry.
Okay.
And a lot of it I didn't really end up agreeing with.
Yeah, it didn't all resonate.
Yeah, nah, because it was like it was something that it was like outdated almost.
Yeah, oftentimes it
And
is. Yeah.
so when you tie that into wanting to run like one of the greatest studios that the world has ever seen, you end up realizing that, like, you got to have some type of positive exclusivity in what you do,
Yep.
and you need to stay consistent with the people that you're working with, and not only that, but you need to develop relationships with them, and you need to not break the bank on them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you gotta, uh, just kind of invest and be a person that can like walk them through the steps. And
Yeah.
so I feel like I went through that stage,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized, nah, you know what, like, and this was long before I started teaching. Like,
Yeah.
right, like me going through the experience of teaching is what allowed me to really learn how to develop artists.
Okay.
um and the way that I do that is by understanding like who these people are that's walking into my building,
Yeah.
and working with them and providing them with a space where they can escape reality,
Okay.
and they could, you know create their music, and uh you know kind of like make something that's meaningful, and
Yeah.
that's like a monumental moment in history, and not just something that's like, for views, or for, I think it's like an equal exchange. It's about really being selective about who it is that you're working with.
Yep.
And it's not about like not giving people a chance, but it's really about making sure that you're doing the 411 on the people that you're working with.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, that I appreciate platforms like this, because there's a lot of people that don't know me, and they speculate, and they
Exactly.
and they assume stuff, and they reach out to me like all day every day, and they try to get with me, and and it's nothing against them. It's like, you know it's that if I take the time to curate every single one of those people, I'm gonna go crazy,
Exactly.
you know? And legit, like, uh it's not just about that,
Yeah.
like the people that I'm rocking with, they gotta be just as in it as I am now.
Yeah.
Because I was that person that didn't have the fire. I was
Yeah.
that person that was trying to get on and get the numbers.
Yeah.
I was that person, and so, like, yeah, I don't know. I think that's what really sets my studio apart. Like, I like, even now, if you go on the page, all it's linking you to is the Spotify page of all the records that are out now, and
Yeah.
and there's more coming. And that's the crazy part
Okay.
the studio has been running for 2 years now,
Yeah.
and for those of you that know that, like, there's so many people coming in and out of there.
Yeah.
And I like to keep it a spot that is like, it's really up to them to let you know whether they be there or not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because, like, people want a spot where people like positive exclusivity.
Yeah.
Like, Google that shit.
Yeah.
Whoever, what I'm saying. And yeah, and so that's something that I really tie the space into. And the giveaway was really cool.
Yeah.
um like, that wheel was really incredible, and the way it happened is literally by me
Okay.
over the last 15 years, working with different artists, and them seeing me from the beginning, and me seeing them from the beginning.
That's hard.
And you know 15 years later down the line, now you're starting to see people get their flowers.
Okay.
Now you're
Yeah.
starting to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That is very true. It's like I'm pretty sure at some points it feels full circle for you, and like almost like a no, I wouldn't say a long time coming because we still got much longer to go, inshallah, as we continue like to build out our stories and stuff like that. But like it, I'm pretty sure it feels very gratifying for you to like to have this understanding now of like the point you made. I didn't start off with this drive and this fire, so now that I'm at this point, I know how I need to protect my energy. And like, cause you've been doing that up until this point, but it's just like, if we're going to be to the point you made, if we're going to be working together, like I need to know, like beyond the 411, this isn't just like some instance. And it's crazy. It's like I remember we was having the conversation in the studio. I think it was at the time it was me, you, Bori, and Maya, and and Bori was talking about like, bro, I'm not trying to be rapping with niggas that's not gonna be rapping 6 months from now. Like,
Right.
it's like
Yep.
that, like it don't make the math don't math. It don't make sense because I'm not doing this for that. Like, I'm not doing this for that. This is my life. It's like it's not a 9 to 5. It's a 9 to 9. If anything, like this is what we're doing.
Yeah, that's
25/8.
it's all we do.
So it's like you can't, and it's unfortunate that, and I think that's a part of the game because it's unfortunate that we have to continue to run into that, and there's nothing we can do externally until there's like, obviously it's just like you're at a status point to where it's just like, oh, it's clear, like niggas is not about to, but niggas may run up on Hove and ask him for a feature. You feel me? Like niggas may still do that. I think that's just kind of like a part of the game, and it's kind of like too like an ode to like how much people respect what you got going on. The fact that they know that they're like, not to like place any classism or like put anybody in separate leagues, but to like be kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like enthusiastic to work in that way, knowing that that may not even be what they should be asking for. Like they should be starting off a little bit, like, starting off smaller with baby steps before they kind of like just try to just like jump at everything type situation. It's just
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
feel me? Because I feel like you're definitely not a training ground studio. Like if you're someone who's just getting you're getting like your shit together, or you're just beginning, there's other studio spots and other producers and engineers too to kind of get their what they call it, uh get your, not rounds, what they like,
Nah,
your
yeah, like
reps
they're
up.
trying. Yeah, so I could speak on that. So I would say that it is, but it has to qualify. Like it has to make sense.
Yeah.
Like there actually there's like 3 artists right now that I'm helping them get their stuff off the ground,
Okay.
that they've never recorded in the studio ever,
Oh,
you
okay,
know.
fire.
And what I do is because there is people that inquire and they say, yo man, like, I'm trying to lock in, let me get a few hours. And so I let people know, yo, like I kind of give them homework, so to speak.
Okay, fair.
Like because some people will straight up tell me, yo man, like let's just go in there, let just play me some beats, and I'm gonna just hop on whatever. And then like, hold on man, hold on, let me
Yes.
let you know how this really works.
Yeah,
Hold
walk
on.
it back.
I know you excited to make some joints, right? But I kind of got to hear what you got going on first. So why don't you, find something on YouTube or find a beat, that inspires you, write to that, perform it, make sure that you're ready for it so that you could hit record. And then when you at that point, that's when you could lock in with me. And then if you want me to play beats and cook up after that, then let's do
Yeah,
that.
we get to
You know
that
what I
then.
mean?
Yeah.
And also, uh I think that another part of that process is uh what's it called? Another part of that process is giving people that homework to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
And also um kind of showing them different references, and kind
Okay.
of like asking them about what it is that, like, the vision that they see of what they want to build with this shit.
Yeah.
And just kind of trying to understand who they are, what their story is. And I've had sessions, bro. I had sessions. Speaking of Bodhi, me and Bodhi done had meditation sessions
Yeah. Yeah. I remember
before
you
we
telling me
start.
about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before we start our stuff, we will literally, like, I got 2 floor pillows. I'll set them up in front of the boards, and we literally put on a YouTube all the 7 frequency chakras, and we'll go down the list doing all the ohms. Like, like, you really got to make sure that the energy is right. Like, music
Yeah.
is so powerful.
Yeah.
And it's not just if you're somebody that's out there that, like, yeah man, I'm just trying to make this record that's gonna go viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make this like little overnight sensation shit.
Yeah.
We're gonna release one song every week, and we're gonna market this.
Yeah.
Like, that's only gonna take you so far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you gotta make music from the heart. You
Yeah.
gotta make music that means something to you, that inspires you,
Yeah.
something that documents your story in a way that can help people relate to it,
Yeah.
and can help people reach freedom in this game of life, love, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
Music is so deep to me, and I think that that I apply that to my business model in the studio.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I was raised by people that you know, they didn't have the internet and the thing like that. You know, like in order for you to earn your respect, it's through what you do, and it's through word of mouth, and
Yeah.
it's through just, you know, people that's just a part of it.
Yeah.
And so that's really where the whole business model from my studio came from. And it went from me being somebody that was working with everybody to saying to myself, wait, hold on, let me pick a lane. You know, because when I first went into the studio, I was on it. I was, you know, working
Yeah.
in every single genre,
Yeah.
from reggaeton to hip hop,
Yeah.
R&B, house music, experimental stuff, like all type of stuff, even like recording live bands. And I said to myself, hold on, like,
Yeah. What's going on
what's the
here?
music
Yeah.
that inspires me the most? And that's where rap and hip hop came in.
Yeah.
And so I changed the whole business model of the studio, because I saw what was happening after I took that route. You know, I was in the studio making and being a part of some of really really monumental records
Yeah.
in our city.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to create a place that uh is a professional space
Yeah.
for this culture to live in,
Yeah.
because that's something that's missing, you
Exactly.
know. And it's a lot of places are like they don't got the vibe that I got going on, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, I yeah, I hope that answers the question.
No, it does, and I feel like two great points you made. The professionalism, but I think another thing to add is the level of care and intentionality that goes into the work that you do and the vibe that you're curating. Because to the point, JPEG's not lying. He definitely has 2 4 pillows. He definitely will like get you right before the studio session, and sometimes you might just talk. Like it might
Right.
not be no music created, and that's how you know
Right.
it's like you really got someone like who cares about what it is that they're working on with you, because it's just like you come in there with the like, first of all, someone who's gonna give you homework and like not just like take your bread. Like when he could very easily do that. You come into the studio, it is like he's saying professional grade, like one of the very few studios that's set up in a way to where bro has gear. The space sometimes shifts around too, because again, it's a vibe that he's creating. It's a vibe that's being set, like, you know, so depending on the season, the studio might look a little bit different. Just
Yeah, so I love that you spoke on that,
yeah,
because you know, I got the post of you know, of the rollout of the studio is still coming, you
yeah,
know. I've just been really just kind of letting some of these things that we just put out
yeah,
settle. And you know, I'm about to roll out the expansion so that people could really see it. But
yeah.
yo, I literally spent like 4 days soundproofing the whole thing. You
Okay,
know,
talk about it.
yeah, so a lot of people don't know. So I got to plug a big time appreciation to the record company. That's TRC, man.
Yes,
They made a big move for the culture, man. I got to give a shout out to Bobby, to Carlos,
yes,
Caroline, everybody on the team, man. They created the studio building with spaces for artists to be able to rent at. And that building is a special building. It
yeah,
was an old radio station.
yeah.
And so for those of y'all, this is about to make me sound like Unc right now. I don't know if anybody remembers Magic 106.7, man.
Magic
Yo,
106.7.
yes, bro. David Allen Boucher, the guy. So you are now rocking with David Allen Boucher. He got the soft rock hits for you tonight. But to
Yo,
listen
not you
to some,
hear the voice
yo,
so
like, no,
perfectly,
for
yo.
real,
That's
yo, like
hilarious.
that's yo. So that plus like 90.9,
Yup,
like all them little radio stations with the CW, the same fucking station
yup,
that did the Saturday cartoons. So
yup.
shout out to everybody that used to watch Batman Beyond and
Exactly.
Sonic X and Yu-Gi-Oh and
And
all them shows.
what else was
And
on there? Did they have Static Shock on there as well?
Static Shock was on there, bro. Like very, very, very special place
Yo,
for the culture. And
yeah,
so for
bro.
us to be there, bro, they rented that space out to a bunch of people. And one of those spots is my studio, is a old radio station. So they literally had the booth and they had the room. The only thing that the room needed was a little bit more treatment. So I literally put a giant soundproof wall that I built with one of my mentors. We literally balled out in Home Depot like $500 and built that in the studio. We put
Okay.
soundproof, super thick 3-inch soundproof foams all over the walls, LED lights. We got a USB hub under the couch. We got a PS5. We put a TV hung up.
Okay.
We got a $3,000 mixer that we
Yep.
locking in with. We got all the beat making gear that you need. We
Yeah.
got an ill analog preamp with the one of the best mics in the game.
Yeah.
You know, we can't lose, man. It's literally all set up so beautifully. And it's something that I'm really excited to roll out to the city.
Yeah.
The pictures of the studio is about to drop, along with a website link and a way for people to book, you know, without having to go through me.
Tight.
And it's gonna be a really big expansion. And also we're gonna have a Twitch channel where you're going to be able to tap in and see this process, and you're going to be a part of the meditations. You're going to be a part of motherfuckers playing the video games and people recording, and
What's
you're
going
gonna be
on at
able
the
to sit,
studio?
and you're gonna be able to donate. You're gonna be able to buy the merch. It's all gonna be this beautiful thing.
That's fire.
You know, it's just something that you know, I've been just really trying to curate in the works. And so
That's fire. Before I move to the next question, I want to ask you, tell us a little bit about the origin behind 219, like Studio 219.
Yo, so yeah, so Studio 219, it came out honestly as I seen what was happening with the studio. I wanted to give a name for it.
Okay.
And I went through mad different names. Like I went through like Sound Farms,
Okay.
Microphone Militia, like I'm trying to remember what's the other one. The Essence Studios.
Okay, the Essence is fire.
I had 3 different names that I was going for, and then one day I was just, you know, walking into the building, and Studio 219 is that was like the number that's plastered right next to my door.
Yeah.
And I said, damn, you know what? This is the name of the studio, Studio 219. And it was right in my face. And then I hit up Bodie about it, and I was like, yo, man, what you think of Studio 219? And literally Bodie was like, that's fire on Dogs. I said, word, like, yo, okay, word, all right, cool. So this is the one, you know, and I really trust his judgment. He's somebody that you know has known me since I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if he gave me the green light like that, I said, all right, word, it's a go. And when I designed the logo,
Yeah.
I
Dope logo, by the way.
Thank you so much. And so when I designed the logo, I made it say Studio 219 Boston Underground, and then the skyline that I chose is the skyline of Dorchester Southie. And a lot of people don't know that.
Okay, yeah, because I knew it was a skyline, but I was wondering, I'm like, again, to the essence of it, I'm like, yeah, bro's cultivating everything in this. But so what was the behind picking that skyline specifically?
I did it on purpose.
Yeah.
So it says Studio 219 Boston Underground, and then you look at the skyline, and then people be like, oh, that's not Boston. And for me, it is.
Yeah.
Because for me, Boston was never the Prudential.
Yeah,
or the John Hancock building,
okay,
or the
I'm here. I'm
motherfucking
following.
Citgo sign. It was never none of that shit. It was the buildings in Southie. And when I look up and I see the buildings, I see Seaport.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was the buildings in Dorchester.
Yeah.
And when I look up, I see motherfucking Dorchester House.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was the buildings in Roxbury.
Yeah.
And when I look up, I fucking see Grove Hall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was what it was.
Yeah.
And so, hey, what's going on? How you doing? And yeah, so that's what it was.
What's up, man? Yo, that's fire. That's fire. Because I feel like that is kind of like an Easter egg of sorts.
Yeah, it's an Easter egg. Yep.
Easter egg of sorts.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a way for me to kind of pay homage to what I'm trying to build. You know, like the record company gave me a studio in one of the greatest locations,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and it's something that is the first. You
yeah.
know, like I was actually just in New York with my cousin,
Mm-hmm.
and she literally told me, she was like, "Yo, how come you don't just move out here and just make, you know, like the opportunities in New York are booming. You could
Yeah.
make shit happen out there." And I literally looked at her and I said, "Yo, you know why? Because I'm the first to ever do this shit.
Talk
Nobody
about it.
else, nobody, name somebody else that's doing what I've done. I'll
Talk
wait,
about
bro.
it.
I'll wait. Nobody else has done it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here. That's why
Yeah.
I stayed. Everybody else left.
Yeah.
Say hi to them in LA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Say hi to them in New York." But no, I stayed, and I don't care if it means that I'm gonna struggle more, and I'm a, you know, like, no, I'm, you know, it's a slow race,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
you spoke
and
to that earlier in the conversation. Like, we are very much pioneers in the work that we're doing. It's like staying steadfast in the work and keeping your head down and just like not wavering at the opportunity to move somewhere else, or because this market may be doing more or XYZ. It's just kind of like holding down the fort and being the first and taking pride in that. Like, you feel, because there's a certain level of regalness to it too. Like when you stay down and you make shit happen where you're from, and it's just like you don't kind of like um just kind of go off at it in any moment's notice or any opportunity, and kind of like build up what you have here, because you have been building up stuff for some time now. So to kind of just go off will kind of be like, it's understandable, but it kind of be against the point of like what it is that you're doing it for. So like, but
right.
you mentioned something I want to get back to, because this again, to like it being behind the art, we like to dive into like people, like obviously as much as you like to share, but like personally, like uh you outside of the music, you outside of the artistry. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because you mentioned like you saw like they kind of got the little hydroponic farm going on over here
Yeah, yeah.
type shit. But like talk about like talk about that. Like what is JPEG outside of the studio? Like what is like some of the things that you're interested in doing? Like how do you recharge or decompress so that you come back rejuvenated, inspired, enthusiastic about the art?
Um, Shoot. To be honest, me outside of the studio, I'm a researcher, yo. Like
Mm,
legit, I be on YouTube and I'm
yes.
watching interviews. I'm watching like music videos.
Yeah.
I'm like diving into all the new stuff that's coming out and just really staying on 10, like on just the advancement of music in its whole. Like I have something that I tell myself, where if I'm in a position where I'm not learning something new,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm doing something wrong. And I've like put myself in a position where, you know, I could really, I feel like I could almost do anything, you
Yeah.
know, and not that I could do anything right away, but like I could take my time with something and go through the trial and error
Yeah.
to be able to get better and better and better till I get somewhere. And so I think that that translates into my personal life, where uh I'm like, you know, trying to stay on 10 on the music, like,
Mm-hmm.
because it's something that I just do 24/7. There's
Yeah.
really, it's not really something that I detach myself away from.
Yeah.
It's something that I just am. I'm living and breathing this
Yeah.
shit. And the times that I would say where I am trying to do something is like when I'm working out.
Okay.
You know, I have this workout routine where I'll go to Lambert's and get a salad, and
Hey.
you know, and after I eat my salad, I'll head over to Planet Fitness, and I'll do a nice workout. You know, I'll do my meditations.
Yep.
Right now, I'm still reading Rick Rubin's book. You know, I'll read a chapter and kind of soak in that information as well. I also am really into movies. You know, I watched a lot of movies growing up.
Yeah.
I wish I watched more black and white movies, to be honest, because this Casablanca movie looks really dope.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you can really damn, can we turn it up a little bit too?
Yeah, we definitely
Yeah,
get it turned up a little
yeah,
bit.
because
Maybe even the subtitles on.
yeah, that would be great. Cause
Yeah.
nah, but yeah, like that's something else that I like to do. I like to watch movies. That's good right there, yeah. And I like to watch movies and yeah, and shit. I also like to spend time with my family.
Yeah, I
Um,
pulled that earlier from you, like going to visit the folks and like
mhm.
you kind of like understanding the difference of like
And
when
so
you
yeah,
first
so
got
that
here.
experience, that's perfect. You see how I went to the museum and I
Yeah.
went to see my family. That's perfect, man.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I like to spend time with my family a lot. Like I really reach out to my family and look for them a lot,
Yeah.
and really try to get around them and just spend quality time with them. And yeah, you know, and I'm just learning new shit. And then I'm you know, trying to stay on top of my health. Like I work out and shit, but I still eat whatever the fuck I want. So I, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, that's the other thing too. I like to cook.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what you chefing up?
yo,
What you
man,
chefing up?
I can make a lot of Dominican food.
Okay.
I also make a fire lasagna.
Okay.
And
All right, let's break that down. What's in the lasagna? You don't got to give everything away. But how are you layering your lasagna? Better question.
Yo, so listen, I stack that shit, yo. I
Okay.
layer the fuck out of it. You know, I got a nice little blend, like with the ricotta cheese and the
Okay.
meat. You know, sometimes you'll throw in a little bit of shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
Use like 4 different cheeses and the
Okay.
sauce. You know, and you. The trick is to not boil the lasagna pieces.
For too
A
long.
lot of people don't nah, I don't be boiling it at all, actually.
Oh.
Like I'll just dip it in some water and
Mm-hmm.
let it sit for a few, and then I'll put it in with all the sauces and everything, and it just kind of does it on its own.
Oh, you just
And
put me on to some
yeah,
shit.
and then it literally like stacks up, and you know, you make it look nice with your
Okay.
fucking
So are you a
parsley and
double
shit.
sheet or a single sheet?
I do like one stacked on like kind of halfway onto the other. I kind
Okay.
of treat it like I'm rolling a joint, to be honest.
It's an
Like,
art.
yeah,
It is an art. It is an
yeah.
art, bro. It
And
is an
so
art.
yeah, I like to make all type of shit, yo, from soups to like, you know,
Okay.
smoothies. I like to bake. You
Okay.
know, I really be chefing it up for real. I used to always post the little meals I used to make on my stories and
Type
shit.
shit.
Honestly, that's that like I really try to let my followers into my personal life through my
Bring them in.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll put up my little meals that I'm cooking up, or
Yeah.
like I also like to work on cars,
Yup.
and we call them pasolas where I'm from, but I think here is mopeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we work on mopeds, and I really like engines, you
Okay.
know, so I'll be taking the moped engine apart, and I had this one build that I turned it from a 50cc to a 110cc,
Okay.
just like changing all the parts on it.
Okay. Okay.
And
Right.
so you ever seen the new version of the Karate Kid where the dude's like building the car to like tear it apart again
The
with
Jaden Smith
yeah,
version.
the
Yes.
Janus,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So literally that's me with mopeds, yo. Like I'll take a
Okay.
moped and I'll build the fuck out of it, and then I'll fuck around and go to Hyde Park skate park and ride it off a ramp, like
That's fire
you
though. That's
know.
fire.
And then I like to work on my car. So
Yeah. Yeah.
like
You
I'm
mentioned that
really
earlier
invested
too.
into car culture. You know, I go to a lot of like car events. I'm actually tapped in with the Boston BMW Car Club of America.
Okay.
And that's like through the BMW dealer directly.
Okay.
And then there's also this other car club called Boosted Boston.
Boosted Boston.
Yeah, and they're super on the rise right now. And
Okay.
it's all foreigns, you know, like Infinities, Hondas,
Okay. Shout out Boosted
Beamers,
Boston.
yeah. And yeah, and so literally we'll go all around town, you know, and there'll be all different car builds, and you know, you get to meet people and connect
Okay. Okay.
and drive around town. It's a really good time,
Okay.
and it's really like just another way to bring people together.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then if I'm not doing that, man, I like to be out in nature. Um, you know, I like to go camping a lot.
Yeah.
I like to go to the beach.
Yeah.
I love to smoke weed on my own personal time.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just literally like I'll have a day where I'll spend the whole fucking day smoking, and I'm just, you know, doing the same thing, watching movies,
Yeah.
tapping in on new information,
Yeah.
social media, whatever. And yeah, you know, just really yeah, and I like to listen to a lot of salsa music and bachata,
Okay.
and I like to really get in my bag and listen to those, and like baladas and shit. Like that's
Okay.
music from the Dominican Republic. And I also love soul music. Yeah, I listen to a lot of soul music, a lot of
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder, a lot of Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, that's I think that's what I do outside of music is listen to more music, take in more music.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
and
fair.
fucking
It kind of all relates when it is something that's like when you it's an embodiment of who you are. I don't think we can naturally escape it. I think it finds its way into the other like crooks and nannies of the things that we do when we're not like physically in the studio environment. Because I'm definitely very much like that myself. Like even in this period of feeling uninspired, it's still like there's not a way to escape it. Like it's who you are. So it's just like it's impossible to kind of just like not do it. Um, okay, it's just like this is when we're getting this is a part of the film where it's like very much more symbolic. So remember that point I mentioned, like he's kind of it's like the beginning of the USSR, like that time period. Like this is where it's just like a bunch of delegates coming through different parts of the
can you tell
country.
me more about like the USSR and like what exactly is like going on and
Well, I don't know. I'm more so speaking time frame here. So like when that was developed, this is kind of like the this is kind of the how would you say like a mock or a take on what would be happening during that time period as you have these like hideouts where like you may be in enemy territory, but this is the place where like okay, we right now our countries are at war, but in Rick's bar everything is gentlemen. Everything is treated with respect. We respect each other. We honor a certain code when we're in this bar. When we step outside these doors, my men can shoot you till your shirt catch on fire.
wow.
Type shit. Like you feel me? And it got to this is a point in the film where like it kind of gets to a point of contention because you have people who are kind of disrespecting the bar's rules. You have certain countries that are coming in and disrespecting the bar's rules after these legacy rules and like ways of acting and ways of behaving yourself in the bar have been set for years
For
at a time.
years.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. This is ill too, because because man, outside of this show and all this stuff, like we know each other
Yeah.
to a personal level, and that I was bartending at the
Yeah.
music hall,
Yeah.
and I feel like in a bar setting is really like that, like they got little bar rules like
Exactly.
certain shit you don't talk about at a bar, and
Yeah.
like
It's
blah
like
blah blah.
unspoken shit. Like you feel
Yeah,
me? Like you
yeah.
shit you just know.
And that connects to everything we've been talking about. I can really tie that into Casablanca big time because it's like rules that set in stone that people are not really abiding by.
Yeah.
Like they're not really respecting the OGs or respecting the movies that's in this format.
Yeah.
And it's so ill to see because this look like it's in 4K to me.
Yeah. It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It just goes to show to the quality of production and the effort that was put in at that time in kind of creating great films. Because this is at the time where it's just like everything was considered, oh, this is silver screen.
yeah.
This is they like, oh, this is on
And
a
it's and
silver
it-
screen.
and you could tell in this movie that it's important to, I guess, have a good one. At least I hope the shorty don't end up doing him wrong in any way.
And it's like there's always that challenge. I feel like even as that's kind of where America's at, right? Where we often refer to America as a woman. We kind of when we kind of what do they call that? Not personify, but like what is the word that I'm looking for? When you kind of inanimate objects, you kind of like place a gender on them. I forget the term that for that, but like we kind of see America in this land of liberty, Lady Liberty, this whole thing, right? But I'm even recently finding out that we got that the Statue of Liberty is from France. And it's like it was never really like you feel me, it was never ours. And then there's even more deeper secret. There's shackles by her feet that are supposed to be like symbolic of something else. And I guess originally the shackles were supposed to be like on her wrists,
Yeah.
but they didn't want to do that because of like what it would portray. So they allowed for them to keep the shackles because they couldn't remove the history.
They want to portray it subtly.
Yeah,
Bastards.
where you can't see it. It's like, it's
Yeah.
not very like unless you know. It's like if you know,
And
type
you know
of
what's crazy?
situation.
All the times that I be in New York, man, I still haven't seen that shit.
Yeah,
I still haven't seen the
It's
tower,
not
dog.
something you really.
And I be trying to get to it, like, but I just never do. I don't know
Yeah.
why. And then the more I look into it, the more I see that like it was supposed to be something that it's like how do I explain it? It's like a Trojan horse almost.
Yeah.
You know, because it looks like this big beautiful thing, but on the inside of it,
Yeah.
you know, it's like
This is bloody historical
corruption.
context.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and then they disguising it inside of Lady Liberty, you know,
Exactly. Like
and that's something that we could get into later, you know. No disrespect to anybody that feels otherwise, you know. I just but like yeah, like you can't take away while there is good people and good people that like respect their values, and there's good soldiers and shit like that. There's also the ones that wiped out everybody that was here first
yeah.
and you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
like ruined indigenous cultures
Yeah.
and yeah, all right, cool. Like we in a world where we get to kind of be a little more free, but
Yeah.
I'm tired of it being just a little more free. Why
Exactly.
can't it just be free?
Yeah. Straight
You know,
outright type shit.
and you know, shout outs to what's it called? Freedom, you know?
Mm.
Yeah. It's
Shout
like
out.
yeah, it's FREEDUMB, you know?
Yeah.
So
Tough. Like, so there was something that you had mentioned after the oh, actually before I forget, because you mentioned beaches. So what's your favorite beach in the city?
oh
We got a
man.
few. Well, I would say not in the city. We got like maybe in the state, because we got like maybe 3 beaches in the city. We got Savin Hill, Wollaston, and Carson.
Yeah.
But in the state we got a few. So where are you going in the state of Massachusetts? If you want to catch a beach vibe, which one you going to?
Shit, man. Yo, to be honest, man, for those of you that really know me, man, I've been going to Castle Island every day since I was a youngin',
Okay.
man. Like you know, I used to live right by Dart Ave and
Yeah.
JFK, and so I legit would like ride my bike and even run all the way to Castle Island. And
Mm.
I was a boxer for over 12 years
Okay.
at L Street Boxing Gym. Right there, it was called South Boston Boxing Club,
Okay.
and there was a old boxing coach. His name was Tommy, and it was one of the most beautiful sanctuaries that I ever came across, because it was a spot where the catch was that you had to come and train there,
Mm-hmm.
but in order for it to be free, you had to compete in USA boxing.
Mm.
And it was like a little safe haven for me and a couple of my guys
Yeah.
that ended up kind of just finding out about it. You know, I went to McCormick Middle School, and so I'm a little biased, man. I'll give it to Carson and Castle Island, because that was the closest beach to me
Yeah.
all my life. Like that's what's so ill about that location that I'm at, because legit I grew up there. That whole little
Okay.
tri-state
Yeah.
area right there,
Yeah.
that's mine,
Yeah.
you know. And so it's just beautiful, and there's no coincidence about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so but I will say this: when I'm feeling like I'm trying to find, like I love going to that beach just because of what it means for me, man. Like going around that little loop, it just feels like you walking on the water. You ever been on that loop? It's called Heartbreak something.
Heartbreak Loop.
It's like a, I forget the exact name of it, but it's like literally on the way to Castle Island. There's like a little path that you walk through, and you see the
Yeah.
gazebo, and then you walk through the park and
Okay.
shit.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite walks to go on. And I love like parking at that beach,
Yeah.
and every car that I've had, even before the E90, I've always pulled up to that beach.
Okay.
And you know, before now they shut the beach down like at 10:30.
Yeah.
But before, you used to literally be able to chill there all like
Yeah. All
24
day.
hours, 7 days a week, and it didn't matter, you know. And
Yeah.
so I used to literally kick it there, listen to music all the time, and I never got in the water though. I wouldn't advise that to anybody. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
if you
know
want
about
to,
doing that.
yeah, if you want to like become a radioactive fish after you take a dip in that water, you know, even now I heard they put mad chemicals. So that's the next. If you want a beach connoisseur vibe and
Yeah.
you got to go to Nantasket, man.
Okay,
That's
Nantasket. I was
yeah.
gonna say, what's the other one that's kind of out that way
Yeah.
that people also be going to?
A lot of people don't know that the dude from The Office lived out there in Hull. Sorry to give his low, but yeah,
Wait, which homie?
uh
Carell? Steve Carell?
Yeah. He lived in
Okay,
Nantasket.
that's
I
hard.
heard
That's
through a little
hard.
birdie, and
Okay.
his whole Massachusetts, and that beach is amazing, yo. They
Yeah.
got the super soft sand,
Yeah.
and if you tied in over there and you got people that over there, you can go to the private section, and it's so ill, bro.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's like the cleanest water ever,
Yeah.
soft sand, and I actually I went out there for my birthday, for 2-3 years, and I would eat at the Parrot. There's a restaurant out there,
Okay.
and literally you could post up and see a view of the beach, and they
Mhm.
have the most fire lobster rolls, yo. Shit's gas.
Okay. I was gonna ask, is the Nantasket the joint with the fried dough? They got the fried dough stand out there.
They have like a little boardwalk, so I think they might have
Okay.
definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a little boardwalk where it's like law beach vibes. Like it's almost like Hampton Beach in New Hampshire. Have you ever
Yeah.
been there?
No. I haven't been to
Nah.
Hampton
So
Beach.
yeah. So Nantasket Beach, I highly advise that one. I guess the third honorable mention, I give
Yeah.
it to Nahant Beach as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I went there once with
Mhm.
one of my friends. And yeah, Nahant Beach is definitely a
Is
super
that a
fun.
bigger one or a smaller one?
That one's a little smaller. It's like a little out the way. It's like past Revere Beach.
Okay.
And yeah, so I like that beach too. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now Revere's a vibe. I remember a couple of summers ago getting off on. I can remember it vividly, getting off the Blue Line, going over to the beach, and then just kind of walking along the shore.
Yeah,
Type shit.
my favorite beach of all time though thus far has probably been Venice Beach in Los Angeles.
Okay, Venice is hard.
Yeah, I went there once, yo, and that whole the water there is, you ain't gonna find that anywhere else, yo. And it's just nice, even just that whole Venice area
Yeah,
is just
that
dope.
whole that's a
Um,
vibe out there.
mm-hmm.
So I want to ask, because like before we kind of
Oh, and don't get me started on the beaches in DR. Hold on.
I can imagine that they're
Yeah,
they're
them
way
shits
better
is
than
crazy.
anything we have over here type
Yeah, them
shit.
shits is like you could see through the water, bro.
That blue water shit, yeah, that clear water shit. Like I needed Jamaica, DR,
Yo,
Colombia.
we could
I
plan
need to get
something,
to.
bro. You could definitely you go to DR with me, you'll be straight, bro.
Feel me? Stay in a
Yeah.
villa. Feel me? That'd be a
Yeah.
vibe, bro. I need to get some more stamps on my passport, so we're gonna have to put something together. But I want to ask, because before we kind of got into the thick of things, you started to talk about some of the films that you watched growing up, like having your bro put you on to and kind of like help shape and add to your development. So normally we do this, like we ask folks like, yo, what is the top 3 films, your top 3 of all time, whether they shaped artistically, personal, or just like, yo, I love these, I always go back to them. And you can, if you need to, you can get the honorable mention as well. But the top 3, and it doesn't have to be in order.
All right. So yeah, this is in no direct order, but definitely 8 Mile. That movie is one of my favorite movies.
Talk to me, because you're the second person that said that. I think Kuro was on that said 8 Mile as well.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, 8 Mile is a big movie for me.
So what's the reasoning behind that for you?
Because I think that story of the underdog and the crouching tiger in a music game, somebody that was super shy and kind of in their head about what they're doing.
Yeah,
I was that person.
Fair.
And the more, and I still am that person in many ways, but and the more and more that I chose to not give a fuck and just let loose and do it, I'm going down in history as a legend.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to feel that more and more every day.
Okay.
And I think that's the secret to this shit. Like the other day I just tweeted that I feel like humility is a curse. Because when you I feel like a lot of times, a lot of those teachers would tell me, yo, be humble, be humble, be humble.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really cute way to say, don't love yourself, and I think it's about loving yourself in a way that doesn't rub people off in the wrong way or make them feel like they not loving themselves or like you hating on them, like I think the key to it is just loving yourself and loving everyone the same, spreading love. That's what it all comes down to. You
Yeah.
know, and that's true humbleness.
Yeah.
You know, humbleness isn't, yo, let me like not say this idea or not put myself out there or not say I'm the best because I feel like it's gonna make somebody feel bad.
Yeah.
Because a part of those things is like you can't really control that.
Yeah, that would be a disservice to you.
Right. And I think that you gotta just motivate people in a positive way and not really be afraid to like pump your chest and talk your shit, you know?
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I think that yeah, 8 Mile is definitely one of those movies.
Okay.
The next movie that I really enjoy is the Freddie Mercury movie,
Okay.
the one that was about Queen.
I'm not familiar with
I
that film.
believe it's
Okay.
I believe it's like self-titled, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Okay.
that movie is incredible,
Mm-hmm.
incredible. Like I shed a tear watching that movie
Okay.
because it's like that movie relates to me in so many ways. Because Freddie Mercury is somebody, you know, that came he's a foreigner himself,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't know, like I don't know what language they were speaking in his crib, but he had like it was the same situation that I feel like I could relate to, like, you know, the culture being inside of the crib and then outside of the crib being this whole different world that you getting to know that your parents don't really understand because they don't even speak English them damn selves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that ties in to Freddie Mercury because he's trying to prove to his family that you know, music is the way and that he's gonna make it in doing this shit.
Okay.
And he you know, sticks to it and then and goes from, you know, being like one of the sideline guys at the events to then being the one
The
leading the
mainstay.
stadium and playing the show. And then he played Bohemian Rhapsody live, and that's like one of the most
Yeah.
crazy parts of the movie because, you know, I don't want to spoil it, but if you know the story of Queen, you know that Freddie Mercury died of a really insane cancer. And
Okay.
so that song Bohemian Rhapsody is him like making a song knowing that he's about to go out, and that's what made that record so powerful.
That's
um uh
crazy.
and yeah, and so that's why that song is so viral and it is what it is. And that's that type of music is something that I sample a lot. I sample a lot of rock
Okay.
music and shit,
Yeah.
and so I like listening to that shit. And you know, and then yeah, and then so 8 Mile, we got the Freddie Mercury movie,
Yeah.
and then the last one, as you said, three, right?
Yeah.
All right, so three, I'll give it to the movie Spanglish.
Okay.
That's the Adam Sandler movie. You ever seen that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
So that movie is another movie that I relate to because it's like a depiction of my life.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it was this daughter with her mom's
Mm-hmm.
that she again came to America,
Yeah.
was trying to, you know, figure out how to make it in this world. And this girl was like the mother's translator, her representative, her spokesperson. Like she was the one that was taking that initiative to and that new English and you
Yeah.
know, and the whole story of that relationship that she had with her daughter and the way kind of Adam Sandler tied into it and all that.
Yeah.
Like that was like an ill depiction of of my life. And yeah, and then the last one, honorable mention,
Yeah.
I'll probably give it to 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's talk
that's,
about
you
it.
know, like just that again, this is something that I live and I breathe
Yeah.
and I consume, and it's everywhere and it's in everything that I do, from like bartending at music halls, seeing over 300 concerts of all the biggest names you could think of,
Yeah.
to being in the studio, to being in the classrooms talking about it, to
Yeah.
learning about it in universities, to watching it on the movies. This is what I do. I am music, you
Hey.
know? And that's the
No Cardi.
yeah,
I
that's
am music.
yeah. Yeah, I am music, no Cardi. Word. on dogs. And yeah, bro, like that's what it comes down to. So that's why I picked those three movies. But I the last thing I'm gonna say, my favorite movie of all time though is Zombieland. Can I just say that?
Okay,
That's
let's talk about it.
yeah, Zombieland is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay, is it because characters? Is it because Jesse Eisenberg is the lead in that, and he is like he's a different level of funny. Like the satire that he comes with, the wittiness, like his comedic timing, like his like on-screen anxiety that he's able to like articulate through just like gestures, body movement, the way he reads his lines and the way his lines read. I feel like a lot of times, because he is someone who is heavy in the writing space too, like he's in those writing rooms kind of either just doing it improv or like tweaking shit so that it works in a way for him. And then what's bro's name that plays his co-lead, but is he's yeah Tallahassee. He's
yeah,
great
Tallahassee.
too. He's great too.
Yeah.
But so why is that for you? Why is that your
so that movie, man? I've just always been into that. Like I love Call of Duty, Black Ops Zombies.
fire?
You know, like I just like the whole zombie apocalypse shit. That's I don't know what the fuck is my obsession with it, but
Yeah.
that's something that I love those kind of games. And that movie, you know, something that I mentioned earlier is I really pay attention to like the way the movie's set up, from even the camera angles and
Okay, yeah.
just the way. And that movie, like I don't know if you remember when that shit first came out. That movie was like revolutionary. It was like the first movie that got put out like that, like with the subtitles on the screen and all this crazy shit. Yeah. And then I feel like it's so accurate, you know?
Oh,
Like
if we had
like
one.
if we really had a zombie apocalypse, that's how I imagine it would go.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I want to dive into that too because we never really did like scenarios or theories. What do if okay, two-part question. Where are you going first in a zombie apocalypse? So we're in Boston. So the scenario's in Boston. It's the year 2025, so it's not dated in the future, it's dated in the present. 2025. Where's the first place you're going to hold down? Type shit. Like that's the first place you're going to hold down. And then the second question is, are you focused on food or are you focused on weapons?
All right, so for a zombie apocalypse, I think is about setting up a spot in your own crib.
Okay, so you're not going outside.
Right, like I'm going outside and I'm gonna have the means to go outside and I'm gonna have everything I need in both places. Like I'm gonna have everything I need in my whip, I'm gonna have everything I need in my crib. I'm gonna stay there for as long as I can, you know? And if it comes to a point where now we gotta move, that's when you know the movement part comes in, where
Will
you
come
set
into
up
place.
you
Yeah.
set up the little Batmobile and you know you get ready and do all that.
Yeah.
To be honest, you know, if there's a zombie apocalypse, man, like where would I go? Shit, man, I'd probably hit the sea.
Okay.
You know, like I'd set up a boat.
That's crazy.
You
That's
know what
so
I mean?
one of my partners was mentioning that, like, yo, if something's go down, they're hitting the river.
Yeah, you
They
know,
just follow
like
the river.
I think if maybe if like and this is just me hypothetically speaking in 2025, but like you know, I'd probably try to reach out to somebody that I know that has a boat,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd find my way to like integrate my resources and get on that boat,
Yeah.
and I'd hit the sea and try to go to an island that like you know
Inhabited
that
type shit.
yeah, and then it use my survival skills, you know, because I go camping a lot and all that. Like
Yeah.
I done been in tents, excuse me, I done built fires, I done had hammocks, you know, like
Yeah. So you got your Boy Scout shit.
yeah,
You
I got
feel
my
me?
Boy Scout shit on lock, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I done been out in Western Mass camping and all that. Like I feel like I survived real straight. And then from there, you know, what can I say? We're gonna just wait for a cure, or we just gonna I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Zombie apocalypse is kind of like thing. So then the other question was, so
But that movie's hilarious, yo. Like
Yeah.
everything about that movie and again, like that, if you look at the movie and the main character in the movie, you know, that I feel I just relate to that protagonist, you know, of
Okay.
being somebody that is like a wolf in sheep's clothing, you know,
Okay.
because you see him as he transitions throughout the movie.
Yeah.
He ends up surviving the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
you know, and they even made a whole zombie land too.
exactly.
And yeah, and so that's something that I feel like I really relate to. And yeah, and to be honest, I feel like after music I'd love to transition into acting, you know.
Okay,
Yeah, because I do a lot of impressions, I do a lot of voice acts, and acting, it comes out of me out of nowhere.
just naturally.
Yeah, and I like movies that to the point where I want to be in them. Like I used to do theater and some more shit. Like I'm telling you, man of many lives, bro. Like yeah, and yeah,
So the before we move on, the other question was, what's more important, food or weapons?
oh yes. So I think both.
But you can only choose one.
You can only choose one.
Yeah, in that moment of like, yo, it's despair. It's just
All right,
announced.
so yeah, so then the most important is definitely gonna be weapons, because
Okay.
you know you can harvest your food later.
Yeah.
You gotta have the artillery to be able to like fend for yourself.
Yep, that's very true.
You know, because these if the zombies is like the ones in Zombieland, them motherfuckers was real athletic.
Yeah.
You know, they was running. And
Yeah.
they was going crazy.
That's okay. I want to make that the third question before we move on, because there is a bunch in the zombie ethos. There are many different types of zombies. You have the Walking Dead walkers, you have Resident Evil zombies, you got Zombieland zombies, you got World War Z zombies. So you got mutant zombies, genetically mutated zombies. You got infectious disease zombies. You got back from the dead zombies. You got yeah, I think that's it. This is back from the dead, infectious disease, genetically modified, and what was the fourth one? I can't remember. But so which one? Which if you could choose the type of zombies,
I'd probably choose the Resident Evil one. No bullshit.
You want the hardest zombies?
Yeah,
they said I want the hardest zombies of them all, bro. Them niggas is mutate. You remember homie that was in the scene with in the bathroom? This nigga had this nigga like something straight out of Mortal Kombat, bro. Homegirl slid under him.
Yo,
with the shoddy full of quarters.
Yo,
bro,
I can
crazy.
Explain.
Okay, yes,
I can explain, bro. Like I have this weird habit of playing games on expert mode.
Yo,
and like legit, bro,
that's hilarious.
Like I don't give a fuck if I lose a level like 100 times, bro.
I'm
playing that shit on expert till I pass it, bro.
Yes.
And it's surprisingly that shit has built up my like mental reaction time and some more shit. You know, like even with as a boxer, bro, like I'll be having little moments where like something will fall and I'll just be like, oh, and it's like it's so crazy. And so bringing it to Resident Evil, bro, I played that game on expert mode, so if I'm in that Resident Evil world, I'll know what to do. You know, I'll be able to build up with all them little resources that they got.
Yeah,
Resident Evil world will probably be a wavy world to be on, man.
I think I think about that a lot too. Like sometimes we're watching films
and they end up wiping them out.
Yeah,
that's like World War Z. Them zombies take over.
Yeah,
like all them zombie movies that you told me just now, I feel like they all end up taking over.
Yeah, that is true.
And they like coexist.
Yeah.
And Resident Evil, they win, and then some bullshit happens again, and then they win again, and then some bullshit happens.
Yeah, it's just kind of like the cyclical
and
cycle.
They're like they've done it like 7-8 times now.
Yeah, I feel like, damn, that's crazy. Because if I had to choose, I'd probably go world. Nah, I'd probably go Walking Dead. Only because Walking Dead seems just like more. It's like civilization was still a thing. Like there were still parts of civilized. There were still parts of the United States even that wasn't.
It's the most realistic too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like I definitely see that too.
Yeah,
Walking Dead definitely. That's honorable mention for me. Then.
Yeah, that's like one of those things. So it seems like we reached the end of the film. We didn't get to catch Rick making the decision to be like, yo, y'all can have this bar. Like, I'm not about to continue to play these like political games and kind of be in between this mess.
Pull us up to there real quick.
And it's like, you can bring us back like 3.5 minutes in. He kind of just, this is when they're like the big fight scene, because again, to films back in the day, like action, being able to pull off action scenes wasn't just like the easiest thing to do. Like now, where you can CGI it, or you got a budget to go through a bunch of takes, this is run on real. So you don't get that much, real. So this is at a point in time where she's in between because she needs to make a decision, and Rick is kind of like he's putting everybody in a weird predicament right now, where it's the woman that he's been having a secret relationship with this whole time, and the gentleman that she's actually arrived to this club with, and she's been willingly playing both sides. So she's kind of forced to make a decision towards the end of the film of whether or not she's going to ride off into the sunset with Rick and leave all this willy-nilly running this like black market club behind, or is she gonna stay with her up and up politician that is very like blue collar, straight edge, not really giving her what she wants, and Rick is much more of the gentleman that she's interested in. The women they like a little dark side. They don't like everything, so you feel me? They like to live a little type shit. It's understandably so. But yeah. But now yeah, we can catch the end of this. It's just interesting how they pull this shit off too, because like everything we know it's a film, so everything is staged. But like imagine this is no CGI, bro. So these are sets. These are like actual sets, like with actual props that are built from scratch. Like imagine everything back in that time having to literally be built from scratch, and then to camera angles and movements. Film cameras, you've seen a film camera before, how big that shit is. Them like they're not super. This is not being shot on a Super 8. These are shot on 16 millimeter big ass film cameras that you gotta lug around, and it's just like full metal body, not where it's like you got the Sony joints, you got the grip and everything. Nah, full metal body. And
That's
it's just like,
crazy.
yo, 18-hour set days capturing these things, and then again, you got to be on timing.
So
It's
she
like
rides off with Richard.
Rick, yeah,
It's so crazy because a lot of people don't know that I also like do photography and film and stuff like with the film camera.
yeah,
My aunt, she gave me a film camera, and I just be pointing and shooting, and sometimes I'll I'll change the shutter speed and
yeah,
like the ISO on
yeah,
there, and I guess that's something else that I'll be getting into. But I never shot with a camera like this though, like with the black and white.
yeah.
Yeah, that's just really cool.
So you got a film photography camera or like a
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
I got
fire.
I got a it's a Olympus OM10,
Okay, that's hard.
and I just be taking like nature pictures, like mountains and beaches and fucking like flowers, like
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
that's hard.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's one of the things where my name comes from, like the JPEG.
JPEG,
Yeah.
JPEG.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, why they thought when we were like setting up artist outreach, like, yo, who do we want to come on? And I thought about you, and I was like, oh, I know who I'm gonna have on. I'm gonna have JPEG on. It was like JPEG Mafia. I'm like, nah, not JPEG Mafia type shit. My
Yeah,
homie
so
JPEG.
so it's so interesting. So I can speak on that, man, and shout out to JPEG Mafia. I'm a fan, dog.
Yeah,
I fuck with his music, no bullshit, and I pay homage to him in a
yeah,
way, of just kind of giving him his respect on his name, because when I first came into the game, I was going by JPEG Sound, and so I get that I got that all the time,
yeah,
the whole JPEG Mafia thing. And so I spoke to my lawyer about it, and she said that the problem is that when you hear the name and that the entities are both involved in the same lane,
yeah. Industry,
and
yeah,
so she said that in order for me to do that, I'd have to one, it would be if he has a problem with it, which I don't think he would,
yeah,
and then two would be me just changing the name, and so that it doesn't clash.
yeah,
And so I said to myself, well, I'm not trying to be a character in this shit. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not.
yeah,
So let me let people know what JPEG means by letting them know that my name is Jason Peguero.
Yes.
And that JPEG is JPEG for short.
Yes.
And then I changed the JPEG to JP3G.
Yeah.
And the three's for the bean. And so that's the meaning behind my name.
That's hard.
And so altogether, I write it out as Jason JPEG Peguero.
Yeah.
To kind of help people understand myself and
fully
my brand.
contextualize it. Yeah.
And then not clash with JPEG Mafia, who's also a talented artist and producer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's doing like he literally does the same shit I'm doing, if not more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That's hard because I didn't know that context to the like the three for the bean. And then I also knew from your name, like I knew that, but the three for the bean, I didn't know that you made that transition. So when did you throw the three in? At what year was that?
I believe that was like, so it's 2025 now. I think I probably threw that in like 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I want to because it is coming, the film is coming to an end, and we do have one question we asked as a send off. But before that, I did want to dive into some of the transition you had, because you mentioned like working at MGM. Also, I want to ask you really quickly, totally unrelated. Have you ever seen the Dropkick Murphys concert there?
Of course, I've worked it actually.
So Kai brought me to my first one.
I seen them doing I seen them do their rehearsals and everything.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, probably one of the best concerts. I'm not look, the folk concert I went to yesterday, some of the best music I heard in 2 years. But that concert, as far as energy that they did on St. Patrick's Day, bro, they were floating
next level, bro.
They were floating toddlers to the front of the stage, bro. Like actual, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy, bro. They know how to get down. And then I didn't know until this year, until Kai put me on, like the Run in the Boston song. Like I wouldn't have shipping up to Boston.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that was them. But then they got a few records that slap. They got a few records that slap. But yeah, they hooked Kai up with some VIP stuff because of the studio that he's working out with.
Fire.
So we got to go check that out. And like St. Patty's Day is definitely a vibe. I also like that our culture is
I got a Dropkick Murphy show from the first time they a Dropkick Murphy shirt from the first time they performed.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. There's a different energy in there.
Yeah,
motherfuckers literally like first off, they drink mad beer that night, yo, like thousands of dollars of beer being sold.
Okay, so it's not really hard liquor; it's really the beer that they're drinking.
Yeah, beer and whiskey, man, and Moscow Mules. Out the wazoo.
The Moscow Mules.
Yeah, yo, for real, and gin and tonics.
Okay.
Yeah, yo, and the Cape Codders, man, vodka crayons. Come on,
type shit. So so they've been playing MGM ever since you've been over there.
Yeah. So I haven't been there for a while now, but for the couple years that I was there,
they was playing MGM.
Yeah, they literally played the whole time.
That's hard.
And those guys are from Mass.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Is like MGM is 7,500 people. That ain't no small feat.
Yeah, yo.
And that's hard, bro.
Yes, sir.
That opens up to your mind to the possibilities. Like we know, wow, like rock and pop rock and like the more earlier forms of music are popular here in our region, but there's still opportunity for like others. So like you see, like now Millie's is about to do MGM for his show to start his tour run when he starts.
And he about to pack that shit up.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's like
super legend. Shout out Millie's.
It's like shit is kind of like a lot of things are coming full circle, and we're able to see like how our culture can now like reap some of the benefits of these things that's happening. Because formerly before it was just like we had Paradise Rock Club was your step up for Bright Music Hall if you're not going to downstairs Middle East no more. And then it's like once you graduated past that, you kind of would just have to continue to do House of Blues over and over. Now we got shit like Roadrunner and some other venues that exist to where it's like if you cap House of Blues, you can go into these other spaces, but to like now be able to see like, okay, hip hop in the MGM to where it's like we got someone from Mass, homegrown. It isn't like Lil Baby come in and shout out to all of those artists that come and tour our city, but it's a little bit different like when you have someone homegrown to where it's like, yo, this is possible, especially for rap, hip hop type shit. It's like it shows you that there is no ceiling. You don't have to think of this idea of plateauing, because I feel like a long period of time, artists felt like artists have experienced that. Like I've even watched, even having conversations with, but watching people out there on their journey, they kind of like plateau, and it's like, where do you go beyond this point? But now a new bar has been set, type shit. So it's just like you can kind of continue to excel and exceed that. But I want to ask you about your journey in between those things, because you mentioned working at MGM, working in the school with the students, but like always being, if following the story too, has always had a musical element tied to it, artistic element tied to it. So what was those periods like when you're working at MGM, or you're working at because you're working at the school in JP, working with the students and in that program and kind of doing that, like how did it feel being in that part of your journey? And what are, like, do you have some gems that you could kind of share with other artists who may be watching this, as like they were doing things? Because there's a big thing of like, oh, uh being full-time in a shit, or like working and being part-time, and it's something like, and while you may have been working, quote unquote, you were still doing music related shit. So it's not like it's not full-time. It's almost like, yo, I'm about to go do some technical stuff over here. It's still music, but I'm about to go be on a technical side real quick, and then I'm headed back to the studio to continue doing what I got to do. Can you like speak to some of the things you learned in that period of time, and then also like how it may informed your artistry, or like where you're at now as an individual?
Yeah, of course. I think that music is the umbrella, and our job is to create, or even aside from the umbrella, it's like more of a tree, and it's our job to like grow and create the branches in this shit.
Mm,
And when I said to myself that I wanted to do music, it became like deeper questions like, well, how did I want to do music? Why did I want to do music? When did I want to make music?
yeah,
What do I want to do? And then it's like, what can I do? What am I capable of?
yeah,
What am I best at? What calls me? What's the role that I could play that that I see fit at? And then you go down the list and you break it down, and it's like, all right, well, if I'm a person that is into music production, what can a music producer do?
yeah,
Well, all right, you can be a producer and you can make beats, you can learn audio engineering and learn how to make it sound good.
yeah,
You can do live shows
mm-hmm,
and be the guy on the boards mixing and making sure the speakers are sounding clear in the venue. um, you can be a bartender or
yeah,
work the merch at a show so that you can be a part of what's going on
yeah,
and see artist experiences firsthand.
yeah,
Some and you can do sound for movies. You could hold up a boom mic
mm-hmm,
and get the sound for an audio recording and mix that in with sound effects. uh, you can teach, and
yeah,
even if it's an introductory class, and for those of you that are watching that spoke on the Scarlet 2i2, you can teach somebody that setup
yeah,
and how to set that shit up in their crib,
yeah,
and you can get paid to do that, and you can do that all day
yeah,
and breed the culture that we have today, like shows like the one you just had last night.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's what creates that.
yeah,
And so I think that that's the root of it, is like creating the opportunities for yourself,
yeah,
um and like creating the enterprise,
yeah,
and making yourself, and then making it true to yourself,
yeah,
and so aside from like building those different sanctions, it's also like, all right, what's behind that? Like, how much of this shit do I love and
yeah,
appreciate? And where does that aspect come in? And then what am I passionate about? And so for me, music, I wanted music to do what it did to me to
mm-hmm,
everybody else. I literally was going to everybody that I knew and telling them, yo, you got to try this new thing called music. I just heard about this shit, man. You got to try this shit out.
yeah.
Like,
I can imagine that
like
as just being fire, bro.
you know what I'm saying? And and
Yeah,
and it was like, yo, this, like, listen, I know you got that shit going on right now. I know shit's hitting the fan, but yo, like, hop in the studio real quick
yeah,
and drop a 16.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be all right.
Yeah, come explore this shit.
And that's literally what it was. And yo, like I have this ill ass analogy for what that experience was when I was teaching, man. It was like the movie The Freedom Writers, but with beats. I swear to God. Literally, that's
Ooh.
what it was, yo. That was legit my class at the school in JP. And for all my students, all like that, still tap in with me to this day. You know, that like I've seen students that I've had go far, even like outside in other programs, like people literally yeah, taking things to different heights. And that's what it's all about. I think that you gotta you gotta also, you know, like what I was speaking on earlier, finding information, as much information
Research,
as
research,
possible.
research.
And then not only just relying on information that you can get on your own, but like surrounding yourself around people
Knowledgeable
and
individuals.
that are doing the do, you know, and building relationships in those environments, you know. And then also the last thing I think is uh doing your part to make the environment grow, whether that's buying a ticket,
Yeah.
buying some fucking merch,
Yeah.
going to the show, you know, meeting people, getting connected to their pages and shaking a hand, and like just leaving all the drama and all the bullshit at the door,
Yeah.
you know, all the like, you know, all that
I
shit,
know.
bro. You
I
know,
know.
it,
Yeah.
it, it exists everywhere we go, man. But like that, the more that we become more united as a city and realize that this is a team sport,
Yeah.
the more uh you know, growth that there will be, you
Yeah.
know. But the problem is, you know, don't get mad at the people that's leaving, you know. Ask them why they left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't got no shade towards anybody that decides to outsource. I do it my damn self. I just came back from New York. You know what I mean? But the difference is that I'm investing in everybody. Like if you ask any artist that's connected to me, am I going to their shows?
Yep.
Am I showing love? Am I buying their merch? That's what I do, man. That's what I do. You know?
Supporting that local
And
artist.
and yeah, and then I'm also putting the battery in people's back. I'm telling people the blueprint on how to move as a business,
Yeah.
aside from it being this spiritual journey, you know, like being able to set their price and being able to harness their craft and put
Yeah.
themselves in a position to be able
Get
to,
more.
you know, get a return of investment. And yeah, you know, it's just a full circle thing. My advice to any artist that's trying to do this is to focus on like like just focus on building yourself on the inside,
Yeah.
you know, because that's really where it all starts. um you know, it's not something that you could just snap your fingers and you're gonna get there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, that's like to the self-development point too, because I think with that, I want to ask you about that too before we get into the like legacy question, which we normally sign off with, because I think that goes overlooked and kind of undervalued, and how much self-development and personal development goes into being a good, great, phenomenal artist. LaRussell talked about it when he came down here last year. Him and Tieta spoke on like a lot of it is like human development. It's literally human development. How are you as a person, as an individual? That kind of indicates how you are as an artist. And you spoke, I think there was themes of it in tonight's conversation, but it's like even from you, like making the decision to like, yo, let me go do some of the tourist stuff, so that like that's a lens that shows us a lens into your curiosity. So as an individual, then there's the point of like, in my downtime, you know what, I actually like to spend a lot of time with family. So that goes into the like need of caring and like being around loved ones and like authenticity. to the point of authenticity. And then there's the exploration, like to you being a philosopher and kind of thinking critically, asking questions when it may not be the most popular to. So it's like all these different things that like show the traits and characteristics you have that kind of play into you as an individual. How important do you think it is? I mean, you spoke to it a little bit, but like how important do you think that is, speaking specifically to where we're at? Because we've had conversation about the scene. I feel like that's every like studio session, not just ours, but like every studio session. At some point in the studio session, people are talking about, yo, the scene, bro, the scene right now. So like, kind of speak to that from your lens of how you see things and like how you feel about where the scene is right now, and like how we're all developing as individuals, but like it has to do a lot more with what's getting us there to that next level, has to do a lot more with our human development opposed to artistic development, but how human development informs artistic development, if that makes sense.
Shit, man. I would say that I would say that the scene is in a interesting place. Um I think that a lot of people in the scene is not realizing how to like stay down before
Mm,
they come up, you know? Like like a lot of people are getting frustrated because, maybe they're performing in rooms full of people, but like they aren't making any money, or like, the numbers that they're getting isn't all the numbers in the world.
yeah,
And I think that people need to, like in our scene, um like, some people just don't know how to play their role.
yeah,
Not anybody in particular, but like I think at some point, like some people get mad
yeah,
at like the role that they play.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, do you want to be a part of this or not?
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I think that in this scene, not enough people are appreciating like the things that people do for them.
yeah,
I think that in this scene, not a lot of people are willing to support each other in a real way, you know? Like, and then when good things happen, people become airheads and
yeah,
they forget all the good shit that you do for them.
yeah,
And so I think that is something in the scene that that I don't appreciate.
yeah,
Because when I first came into the scene, I was like, yo, man, support your local global artists. I'm trying to show y'all that people look at our city all around the world
yeah,
and they want to know what the fuck's going on over here. It exists, you
yeah,
know, and there needs to be more love and more appreciation. Um, and there needs to be real investment, not just people pulling up and trying to get in for free, not people, trying to pull up to the studio and not trying to pay the engineer,
yeah,
not people fucking working with the video guy and then lowballing the video guy.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that going on.
yeah,
And then aside from that, like uh you know, there's just like I don't think people realize how small our scene really is. One movie that I want to talk about is like uh the Lego movie, the Pharrell Lego movie that just
yeah,
came out. That's the one that I should have added to the list. But if you see where Pharrell and Timbaland and Missy Elliott came
yeah,
from, they came from a city where it was the same thing. They wasn't known. And then one day a studio got built in their hood and they pulled up and the Neptunes was born,
yeah,
and Pusha T was around for all that too. Like that's one of my favorite movies, and I went to go see that show with my mom, which was
okay,
crazy. And that I think really relates to our Boston music scene. Um,
okay,
because if you see the depiction of Pharrell Williams' neighborhood, there's music that exists in the projects that he grew up in, and he saw all around his community. It just wasn't all over the world
Yeah.
like some of these other cities are, like a New York or
Yeah.
a Chicago, you know, or Atlanta or a fucking New Orleans, you know what I'm saying, or Cali or Florida, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, or Detroit. Like the way that those cities became something is when big artists came out of those cities.
Yeah.
And so if you see a artist becoming big in your city, don't hate on them, bro.
Advocate.
Don't fucking hate on them, bro. Support them
Yeah.
and create and keep going, and your time will come. You know what I mean? And then financially pay people,
Yeah.
bro.
Especially if you have it.
Put money in people's pockets, bro. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck is wrong with you? Like, this is why people don't want to work with you, because you don't want to fucking invest.
You want
How
everything
else
for
am I
free.
supposed to fucking hold it down for you if you trying to, like, you know? And that's something that I think in our scene is really fucking up, bro. A lot of people want handouts,
Yeah.
and nobody want to talk about that because they're afraid of what the fuck's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And
All the
I'm gonna talk
skeletons.
about that, bro. And you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to change. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
And so to anyone listening, the way change like this happens is within yourself. You know, like, because this is the other thing, is a lot of people in the scene are getting together on these platforms and they're talking about it, talking about it, right? But nobody's making the real change within themselves.
Yeah.
People are just talking about it. You know what I
Just the
mean?
topic of conversation.
And so that's the shit, bro. Is like, we got to be able to celebrate people and build people up, and you know, we got to make music that comes from the heart, you know, and we can't make music that's already been done before.
Yeah.
Like, if you feel like you're making a sound that you've already heard before, pack it up, my G. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And I hate to say it that way, but it's just like, just pack it up, man. Just,
No, you don't got to be sorry about it, bro. It's
you
true,
know,
bro.
I've reached a point where, like, I'm just not nice in this game anymore.
Yeah.
I like,
Just real.
bro, you know, you've been around me for quite some time now,
Yeah.
bro, and you've seen how I started with this shit. I showed a lot of love in this game, and unfortunately this Boston music scene took it away from me. You know, and I'm gonna be honest about that. I love my city, man. I love my city, but right now I'm feeling some type of way about it. And I'm just building with the people that I'm building with.
Yeah.
And if you tap in, you're gonna see some great things are happening there. And if you want to be a part of it, run this episode back into the beginning and you'll know exactly how to make that happen.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Exactly.
how I feel, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Nah, I respect that. That's hard, bro. That's hard. I appreciate the honesty on that too, and the transparency. Because I feel like that's a lot of time with the scene is lacking the transparency, because we have, it's far and few in between. We have individuals who are able to be, because it takes a certain level of vulnerability too to be that transparent. But it's like, to your point, it's like we got to be real with it now. It's like we was nice before, but now it's time to be real, because it's like there's money to be got. And what I've been saying, like early this week, and it was just like, bro, Hawes, you got to get some rest, you got to get some sleep. It's like, nigga, the money is up. So am I. Right. Feel me? As long as the money is up, I am up. But now we reached a point where before we sign off, we normally kind of ask the question of, how do you want to be remembered? Like, we talk legacy, you know, that's a big part of not what we do it for, but it's just a natural part of, you know, I think just human beings. We all have legacy. We have family that come with traditions. We have culture that comes with traditions. And then individually, when we transition on and when we have, you know, children, you do things, you have accomplishments, you leave a legacy. So when you think about JPEG, you think about yourself and what you've been able to do and what you're going to continue to do going forward. How do you want to be remembered?
Yo, man.
Also, JPEG rolls extremely fast, guys. Like one of the fastest rollers I know.
Yeah.
Like, we've smoked plenty of times before. You don't have to wait Like you don't have to be feeling like, damn, when we gonna roll up? Bro is rolling up very fast and very simple. It's like like yeah, you got to do like a tutorial on rolling. No funny shit.
Yeah, because I got a whole little. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but nah, that's something I've always noticed. You roll super fast. It doesn't take you a whole bunch of time to roll. It's just like, yo, we getting it. It reminds me of, honestly, remember when Wiz did in the pool? He taught us how to roll rods. It reminds me of that.
Yeah,
It
yo.
reminds me of that.
So it's damn. That's crazy. So it's true, man. I smoke so much weed. It's like I love smoking weed, man. And I always laugh at people that like, think smoking weed is a problem. It's like Wiz Khalifa said it himself, yo. He literally said he goes to the gym and he's fit, all that, and he smokes mad weed, bro. He's one of the greatest rappers of all time.
Yeah.
Look at Currency, look at Snoop Dogg, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, and then it's a plant, so and it's something that has helped me, like you should see me sober, bro. If you think I'm crazy now, yo, you see me sober, bro. Oh my God. And
Yeah.
so I just need something that is like is a form of meditation for me. It's
Yeah.
something that helps keep me, it helps relax the body and mind. It's something that helps me transition,
Yeah.
helps build my appetite, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it helps me sleep.
Yeah.
And it helps inspire me, like I've been doing this for years, just smoking and making music and smoking and being able to vibe out. It kind of feels like them black and white movies when people will hold the cigarette, and I feel like I have quit smoking weed. Like when I was in DR for 2 months, I stopped smoking weed because there's no, I don't really trust the weed out there. And so, next thing you know, I found myself smoking cigars.
Ooh,
And so,
El
you know what I mean?
Capitón.
Yeah. And so it's like, I think I like the sensation of
Yeah,
smoking
yeah.
something.
It's definitely more of an oral
And
fixation thing.
yeah, and weed is like, I guess, the healthiest option,
Yeah.
like, and I've been doing it since I was 14, man. I'm a huge Kid Cudi fan.
Yeah.
And I grew up listening to Kid Cudi and Wiz Khalifa, for
Yeah.
example, and those were two big pro weed artists that made me want to one day, like when I felt like I wanted to take life into my own hands, I say, yo, I'm gonna fucking smoke some weed today,
Yeah.
and I'm about to do something that like is not normal to like what I'm doing. Like it was my first rebellious notion,
Yeah.
was hitting that joint. And yeah, man, and I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
And then as far as how I want to be remembered,
Yeah.
that's a really, really, really good question, bro. Because it's something that I spoke on this just the other day. And that's something. First off, that's something about me, man. That's one of the ways I want to be remembered for sure. Is that if you around me, we're gonna be smoking the gas 24/7.
Yes, Sirski.
Unfortunately, we can't smoke in the studio, but we do have a smoking area, right outside that you could smoke at, or you
Yeah.
could smoke in your whip. But when we in the studio, I like to just be locked in, working and making music. And then aside from that, uh uh how I want to be remembered.
Yeah.
So all my life, um my uh my ancestors were remembered in a way that they didn't get to enjoy the fruits of their labor, because they uh they made decisions to uh to survive by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, that led to a lot of struggle and a lot of adversity and a lot of corruption and separation in my life. And so I think my life has been a constant battle of not trying to be remembered by that anguish and that pain. Um, and it has been to be try to be remembered for doing something good, for being the first to do something, for being a tastemaker in this shit, for being somebody that really changed the world in a positive way, that put the battery in people's back, that copped his own without doing the same thing. That because I like this kind of leads into everything that I've ever done. I have a time capsule, bro. I have literally a time capsule that I've been working on since before I was in elementary school. Just a box that I literally was putting of all trinkets of my
Different
life
artifacts,
and
yeah.
all the shit that I've done. And I have a lot of stuff on the way. I got 3 projects on the way, and one of those projects is my transition as Jason Peguero, the artist, and it's tied with that time capsule.
Okay.
And it shows everything that I've done, from planting trees in my community to building up my life in Boston culture, being a student that went through Boston public schools,
Yeah.
and grew up in Boston for real, and all over the city. And I want to be remembered, the same way people look at New York and they look at Biggie, they look at 50,
Yeah.
they look at all these big names, Mos Def. I just want to be a part of it, man. That's all. I just want to be a part of it. I don't want to be. I don't care if I'm like super famous. I don't care if I'm like the biggest artist in the world. I just want to make sure that I go down as somebody that held it down for like where he's from,
Yeah.
and yeah, I want to be remembered for something great. Um, and 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 yeah, like I remember even when I built the studio at the school, I told the principal, I said, "Yo, I want you to name the studio after me," and he said, "I got you," literally, and that's what they call it at that school.
Yeah.
And it's shit like that that just goes down to history. And when it's your time to go, because it's going to be all of our times to go one day, you're going to be known and you're going to be remembered for a big legacy.
Yeah.
And so to tie that in with advice for anything is just always remember that this shit is bigger than you, is bigger than us, is so much bigger.
Yeah.
And the more that you treat it that way, the more that you honor and respect it, and treat it like a career, and like not just that, but like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think being remembered. I have this philosophy about, and I think they spoke on this in the movie Coco. The
Okay. I didn't get to see that film, but I'm familiar.
So they spoke on this on the movie Coco, I think, where it's like you want to be remembered, right? And the more people that remember you on planet Earth, that's your opportunity to come in and out of our realm. Like once you reach a point where nobody remembers you,
Yeah.
your entrance to the earth is officially closed.
Yeah.
As long as there's one soul that remembers you, then your energy gets to travel. You get to speak to people through their prayers, through different mediums, through different trinkets or things that remind you of them, photos, things like that. You know what I mean? And I think that there's like a connection
Yeah.
between the spirit world and the world that we in. KRS-One spoke on this about losing a loved one is a privilege, because now you got somebody on the other side
Yeah.
that you
Watching
can
out for you.
communicate with, that could tell you that. And again, I feel like a lot of the shit in my life is beyond like space and time, bro.
Yeah.
It's just saying that it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I have the same feelings that Aang from the Avatar has. Like when Aang found out that he was the Avatar, he was pissed.
Yeah.
He was like, God damn, why I gotta be
All this
me, bro?
responsibility.
Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like, I just want to fucking
Be a kid.
yeah, I just want to, and that's something that I relate to that shit all day. I didn't get to be a kid,
Yeah.
and I didn't get to be that guy that was the nice guy and that was friendly.
Yeah.
And so that's why I carry myself the way that I do. And unfortunately, a lot of people get it twisted, man. A lot of people get my kindness twisted, but
Yeah.
they don't realize that it's a choice that I made to
be
carry myself in a way to
Yeah.
make a difference,
Yeah.
because I feel like we've been programmed to be aggressive and to like want to kill each other,
Yeah.
and to hate on each other, and to be in a competitive nature, and it's so much corruption,
Yeah.
and when there's supposed to be peace, love, and positivity
Yeah.
in this world. And yeah, and that's really how I feel about like, I could talk all day about how I want to be remembered. And I think that should be everybody's goal, is
Yeah.
what can I do to be remembered in a good way, because that's what it all going to come down to.
At the end of
Like,
the
are
day.
you going to be respected as a true man, or are you going to be a sucker?
Yeah.
You know, and it's as simple as that. And it's like yeah, that's what it comes down to. And yeah, I think that's like, I want to be remembered like all these artists that I look up to, man.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be remembered like them. I just want to be a part of it, you know? That's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I've already built strides with everything I've been doing, you know. I don't been recognized, I feel like, in local and even like little professional ways, you know. And yeah, I just want to keep on going, you know. I think I'm at the halfway point, but
Yeah.
I realize that this is the best part of the journey right here.
Yeah.
This is it, man. This is the part.
Yeah.
This is the life of music in full time. And I
Yeah.
think that people forget that. And that's
Yeah.
what make people give up.
Yeah.
You know, people get into a position where they're like, yo, man, what the fuck? This shit's not working. I put this down. I put this down, this, down, and
Yeah.
the third. They done paid $5,000 for a video,
Yeah.
and their shit is still not popping.
Yeah.
You know, and like, people like myself, I've been scammed,
Yeah.
like trying to pay an artist for a feature, and then it turns out their page got hacked,
Yeah.
and it was not even real,
Exactly.
you know, and it was on a famous artist page. But what the fuck, am I gonna trip over that loss?
Yeah.
No, dude, you just gotta keep going and keep
Charges
going
it
and keep
again and
doing it
keep
again.
going.
And again, you just like, stop treating it like a competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be afraid to dap somebody up and show
Exactly.
love. And you know, that's what's missing, you know, because the problem is that a lot of people start getting strides, and like, people get mad, like, oh, why it's not me? And that's the
Yeah.
problem. You
Yeah.
feel me? That's what's fucking the scene up.
Yeah.
And then just, yeah, and that's that on that, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, that, I mean, you made a lot of valid points, especially in that last part about like the why not me's. It's like we gotta just show love. It made me think of the clip, the meme clip. He was like, "It don't cost nothing to show a nigga love." Nigga,
Right. Yeah.
show a nigga love.
Right.
Nigga,
Show a
nigga
motherfucker some love. Yeah, bro. I'm
Yo,
dogs.
that's hard. That's hard.
Mhm.
But yo, this honestly, this was another great conversation. I feel like this whole season since we started this, it's just been a bunch of great conversations. So like, what a better way to kind of end off and kind of go into spring. I heard we getting some snow next week, so I'm not really too excited about that.
Fake spring.
But
I
feel
told you,
me?
dog.
Type shit.
The shit.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
The shit in this fucking that you got going on right here. I've been tapping into the other episodes. This is what we need, man. This is what we need, because this is like, bro, it's like you having therapy sessions with the artist, bro.
Type shit.
And for those that are willing to listen and picky like that, let me speak on that real quick. Picking each other's brains,
Yeah.
you know, and not gatekeeping each other.
Yeah.
Like, every time somebody meets me, bro, I'll tell them, I'll be like, yo, man, I'll tell you everything I know.
Yeah.
I'll trade sound packs with you.
Yeah.
I'll point you to resources. If you ask me how I did something, how the mix sounds, I'll show you exactly what I did. I will not withhold no information.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
I never have been. I never will be.
Yeah.
And this is why people fuck with me.
Yeah.
Because I'm, you know, and that I think is what people are missing in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, like people aren't focusing on themselves
Yeah.
as a person, like developing the soft skills to be able to socialize,
Yeah.
not fucking having anxiety and thinking that everybody's out to get you,
Yeah.
not fucking judging people
Yeah.
and thinking that you better than them,
Yeah.
not fucking being a hypocrite, telling people to buy your shit
XYZ
and
and
you
you're
don't even
not.
buy
Yeah.
nobody else's shit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And and yeah, and then working with people and not being willing to like give them a price,
Yeah.
you know? And that validity is what gives you the longevity in the game, because while there's a fucking good percentage of people that hate on me, there's a higher percentage more that meet me and work with me every day,
Yeah.
and and you build with the people that know you
Yeah.
truly and fuck with you.
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
and and anything else outside of that, it's still good publicity. You know
Yeah.
why? Because those same motherfuckers that's hating on you is still gonna tap in.
Yeah.
They probably watching right now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's the type of shit that you just gotta understand. It comes with it, man.
Yeah.
It comes with it. All that shit comes with it. Music is an expensive sport,
Yeah.
bro. You gotta pay to play in this game, bro. That's just how it is, and that's how it's always gonna be.
Yeah.
Like very, very few people are overnight sensations, and that's what they just stay as, overnight
Yeah.
sensations. When you want to be a part of this shit and be an artist that's making strides and breaking generational curses and bringing in money to expand the infrastructure
Yeah.
and the whole embodiment of the movement that we got going on, then you got to put yourself in that space, in the way that you carry yourself.
Yeah.
And so I find myself in a lot of these places that I go, is that there's like an elephant in the room that people don't speak on. And so and people don't speak on it. And so that I think is the issue.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think as simple as that. Aside from that, yo, I think that for the people that are right, you see big shows like the one last night. That show you was at, that's gonna go down in history.
Yeah.
One of the greatest shows of all time.
Yeah.
That
Shout out
lineup,
Gorilla
that
Mag.
that that
Yeah.
lineup was so crazy.
Yeah.
That shit, I was so mad I wasn't there, bro, because I was in New York.
Yeah.
But if best believe I would have been there.
Yeah,
You know
bro.
what I mean? And yeah, like that right there is proof
Yeah.
of people that they understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that even those people will tap in and say, hell yeah, it's true. Like,
Yeah.
but the question stands at, well, what can we do to change it? And my answer to that is within yourself. It's like Most Def, Black on Both Sides,
Yep.
when he talks about where hip hop is going.
Yeah.
He said, when you want to know where hip hop is going, ask yourself, where are we going? How are we
Exactly.
doing? What do we got going on?
Yeah.
And that will give you a better picture.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I think it's really about that, creating some kind of infrastructure. Like, look at Motown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Motown ended up becoming a music machine.
Yeah.
You could literally take anybody,
Put them in the system.
put them in the system,
and it was gonna be literally happen with several artists. Like literally the reason we have Michael Jackson, like it's like Berry Gordy understood, like he understood there's science behind it, there's a way that things need to be done. But again, to your point, self-development starts within. How you gonna win if you ain't right within? How you gonna win if you ain't right within?
Exactly.
Shout out the honorable Lauryn Hill, and what the greatest album, if not the greatest album of all time, one of the greatest albums of all time, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also shout out Vinyl Day that's coming up April 4th. Vinyl Index is gonna be doing some shit, so you feel me? You might have to slide over there, party
Absolutely.
with the folks in Somerville, Bow Market.
I have to pull up over there. No bullshit.
But yo, this was a great stream, bro.
Absolutely.
Conversation, great stream of consciousness, because we was in here just, you feel me, rattling off thoughts and kind of like sharing, which is always great, because I feel like that's what this shit is for. To your point, like this is what this shit is for. This platform is to come in and kind of like share like where we're at behind the art type shit. Like you feel me? So yo, live from Sukasa. This was another episode of Behind the Art. I'm your boy Haz. My boy JPEG in the studio with me. You want to give him your socials, ring off your socials before
Yes,
we get out of here?
absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram. It's Jason Peguero, and it's spelled JeisonPeguero, and there's an underscore after that, but I'm sure if you write my name, it will probably pop up.
Type shit. The SEO's working. Feel me? The SEO's working. Feel me?
And
Type shit.
yeah, you could put JP3G as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could find me everywhere, man. You could find me on Instagram, on Twitter, which is now called X. You could look me up on Google. And very soon we're gonna have a website for the studio.
Yeah.
And we're also gonna have Twitch, and we got a lot of top secret stuff on the way. And it's not gonna be a secret anymore soon enough.
Yeah.
And but yeah, just stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
And yeah, Sukasa, man, you know, as soon as I walked into the room, so I gotta put the joint down for this. As soon as I walked into the room, you know, I was really blown away by what's going on in this platform, which is why I agreed to come on to it. You know, I try to really make sure that my media appearances are with people that's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And this is one of them, yo. This is I really can't I wish y'all the best. I appreciate y'all having me for the season finale. And I'm looking forward to see like all the future episodes and everything that y'all got going on. And Haz, yourself, man, I really respect everything you do.
Thank you, bro.
You're somebody that really inspires me. And I think that you are literally somebody that I relate to in so many ways, as far as you know, the right mindset that we spoke of tonight.
Yeah.
As far as being something more than just an artist or a producer.
Yeah.
And being somebody that's making strides in every single realm.
Yeah.
A part of our culture, because I feel like a lot of people don't realize that there's actually like funders and people that feel the way we feel.
Yeah.
In the city, like in the professional world,
Yeah.
that work with like city council and like grants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like we're both two people that have been fortunate enough to be able to like navigate all those worlds, you
Yeah.
know, with everything that you got going on.
Yeah.
With the Dorchester Art Project and your music is hard, bro. Like all your projects that you done put out, them shits is hard, bro. So yeah, man, it was no brainer for me to come here and
Thank you, bro,
to lock in with you. And this is dope for me because you know, I get to tell the people
Share your story, bro.
that not just my story, but that you and I are gonna be locking in the studio and making shit happen.
Yeah, inshallah, it's long overdue. We gotta put some
Yeah.
shit to wax, bro.
So
But it's also likewise, bro. I feel like that's the reason why we connected when the universe finally connected us when we connected, because it's just like natural. It's bound to happen, bro.
Yeah, man. You know, we'll get to really show people like what it's like to really lock in and make shit happen, bro. Because you know, that's I think is what's missing.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, and I think that every day is being found.
Yeah.
So I I have super high hopes, and that's why I haven't left.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep investing, and that's why I will never stop. And yeah, and till the day I die, I will be here. And yeah, and I hope to stay here by being remembered by all of you. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah, bro. Hold it down. Yo, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Follow the channel. Follow Sukas on all platforms. Follow the bro JPEG on all platforms. You know it's your boy Haz. It's been another episode. This is season finale. So we will see you when we see you. And you'll know when that